Hello and welcome to another week of lovely Creator Series WRC. This time we're in Croatia with some rear-wheel drive beauties with way too much brake horsepower for these courses. I'm joined today by Aerotech. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. I'm super excited for this. This is basically the closest thing. It feels more Japanese than anything. It's basically just a mountain road up and down a mountain with your summit towards the middle. Both sides of this the mountain road are very unique. One's very slow, a lot of hairpins, and then the other side's a little mid-speed, and a lot of very big committed corners with a lot of gutters and walls and things that will hurt you. So should be a really fun day here today, John. I'm super excited to see how these guys get on.
Yeah, one thing you don't want to be doing is hiking back up the mountain after having fallen off of it, that's for sure. I found that out on my run, so let's hope that none of our creators today will find it out. And talking about that, we will have the creators starting a bit sooner than usual on the broadcast, as they are very keen to get going here. As you can see, they're preparing, and indeed at JPH, I think, getting ready to go already with Punju. So good timing, actually, for us on broadcast here. But yeah, a lot of trials and trepidations await them as we have our first driver already into the running right now with JPH, with this lovely uphill section, but so difficult with the amount of hairpins and just the amount of just braking zones and off camber stuff. I mean, the description could carry on for about 10 minutes, right?
Yeah, start of the stage too is very stop start, and then another thing too is a lot of these hairpins are titans, and you can't really see that from inside of the car. So unless you know these stages really well, you're waiting to roll back on the throttle. And in some of these situations too, as I'm sure you know, the exits of these hairpins sometimes really bleed immediately into another corner. So you're like, do I get on the foot gas fully and hope that I can make the second part of the corner, or do I try to roll on the throttle a little bit smoother and be able to have a little bit more grip going into that second corner? And another thing too, tires, as they always do on Tarmac and Creator Series, are going to play a big role in today's broadcast.
Yeah, and I think adding on to that as well, the driving style changes with the tyre wear, because at the start you've got a quite balanced car. As you said, you can get on the throttle early, or you can tailor your driving style to whatever you want. But then as the tyres start wearing, especially the rear tyres, which on most of these cars are larger than the front tyres, you get that sort of scrubbing effect across the tarmac, and that heats up the tyres, wears them a little bit faster, especially as you're trying to apply power off of the hairpins. And that means that you get a lot more tail happy, and it means that you have to either drive cautiously or lean into the slide and turn it into Formula Drift, basically. So it's going to be very entertaining to see which track and path our drivers take. However, you know, on the first round and the first stage, I don't think they'll be worrying about that. They'll just be hoping to survive. As you can see, the lighting conditions not optimal, so some of these hairpins are a little bit blind as the road sort of camouflages itself into the scenery in the background, and it can be very easy to miss your braking point and just go off the side of the road, and without four-wheel drive there's no way really of recovering the car. So yeah, a lot of risk and a lot of reward, and that will tell for quite a few of our drivers, as we've also got a split car choice as well, with Punju in the BMW and JPH in the Porsche. And you definitely want a mid engined car, quite lightweight if you can, because it will help with the rotations into the hairpins in every corner.
Yeah, just to expand on what you had said already, this is rear-wheel drive class, which isn't super popular, especially in the world of rallying, but they are quite a bit of fun here on the tarmac, as we see most of Lembar's screen. But almost all cars represented here, no Lancias in the broadcast this afternoon, but I think Lembar might be the only one that will have a little bit easier time when those rear tires start to wear. In the mid and rear engine cars, once the rear tires start to go, you get those little slides. Get it gripped back up and back pointed forward on the stage. But the Manta is the only one in this class that is a more traditional front engine rear wheel drive layout. So I don't know if he's going to be more comfortable pushing the tire a little bit more. That could be something we see later on, depending on how long they take these first sets of tires. There was a strategy that where we'll see at the end of stage 4, Some people might be on basically rims, if anything is to believe off of what I experienced in my run last night. So that will be really exciting to see if anyone opts to take a new set of tires before stage 4, or if someone's going to try to go the distance and play it a little bit risky, I think.
Yeah, I think that's very accurate, and from my run as well, by the end of stage 4, I was regretting going for the tire choice. There is some sort of risky strategy that you could take by starting on softs and changing basically at the end of stage 2 to a set of mediums, trying to take that for 4 stages maybe, switching to a set of softs for the end, and then going a set of rain tires in the power stage. That was a strategy that was tabled to me. I was not brave enough to try it, but it has worked out in the past, but with 4-wheel drive. Now, the problem with these cars is they have more power than the Rally 2 cars and 2 less driven wheels, so they will increase the tire wear, and so you would burn out a set of tires a lot faster. And a lot of them, apart from the BMW, all of them are turbo powered as well, so that increases the amount of pressure that you put on the tires, and so it can be a very, very tricky way to navigate these mountain roads. And we saw Punju just a bit earlier getting all crossed up on the exit of a hairpin and going up the bank there. Very, very tricky.
Yeah, another thing to keep in mind, too, is going uphill, you're always going to have more grip. The car's pushing into the ground, so you're not going to feel the wear of these tires and how this car kind of warms up to the stage as much as you're going to feel it on the downhill. It is a very significant change, and a lot of the pace notes kind of have changes of their meaning. What you could get away with on an uphill, you might not be able to get away with on a downhill. Just the way the momentum goes and the weight on the car and where the weight is sitting, especially in a rear-wheel drive car, having all the weight over the front makes for some very interesting braking zones towards the downhill section.
Yeah, certainly does. And the problem is also when the tires get worn is the braking sections get even longer, and that means that, just like Punju there, just getting all crossed up once again. He takes it within his stride, but a little smile there coming into effect. And that can happen in the braking as well. If you've got your brake pressure dialed in for the uphill, it can be too far forwards for the downhill, and you just get all crossed up with the brakes, and it can be over so quickly. As Punju getting to the end of this first stage, with it looks like JPH just following a little bit. No, JPH is going to be the first across the line. My apologies. As he's going to come across the line now. A very tricky last turn there. You can be tempted to try and take it flat out and then go all the way sliding down the hill. So I think that was a 6:08 or something like that. I did not exactly catch that time as he crossed the line, but seems to be a good time there in the top 10 for sure. I'll just check with RaceNet, as RaceNet is cooperating at the moment. 6:16 apparently.
Okay, yeah, I thought I was crazy because I saw the 6:16, but I just believe you wholeheartedly. You're like my dad. I just trust everything that comes out of your mouth.
News for me there, chat. I did not realize, but there we go. You learn new stuff on Creator Series every single day. As it looks like Punju set a good time as well, if I can find that time. It is, I think, just in front of you, Aerotech, unfortunately. P12 and your P13 by exactly a tenth of a second. So here we go. The rivalries have already started, as they say.
And I mean, for those who don't know, we have our own separate leaderboard for the creators, and me and JPH and Punju and Encephalosis are basically all on top of each other. The battle for third place is really close. I think me and JPH are separated by 1 point. So it's going to be, it's being in the chair today, I'm biting my fingernails to watch how, especially those two go about it. But another two that are going to have a really good showing is Ryan Lembar. Ryan was setting some really, really good times in his warm-ups, comparing them to what people are running in the stages currently. And he was on the proper tires. It's not like he was just doing time trials. So, and I think his preferred surface is tarmac. But Lembar, not 100% confident going into today. I don't know if that's because of the car choice or because of the rally. I know, I'm just guessing here, but I think being uncontrolled is probably not going to help his tire wear situation. But we'll have to see how that all shakes out towards I think stage 4, stage 5 will have a better lay of the land there.
Yeah, I will say for Vlembar, definitely being on controller is not an advantage this week because while for front-wheel drive and four-wheel drive it can be equal, some argue maybe better sometimes. That's another discussion to have, but definitely for rear-wheel drive it's a disadvantage, and so he'll be looking to just complete the stages and hopefully get a clean run. As a lot of people have made mistakes in here, would you believe? It's one of those rallies where you really have to try really hard, and if it goes wrong, there's not much you can do about it. 6:09 for Mr. Ryan L83, which puts him inside the top 10. Just, I think that's P8 as far as I can tell on the leaderboard. So that's a really good time to start off, and he'll be encouraged by that.
Yeah, 619 for Lembar again. I don't know if he's just out of the gate a little bit slow. Maybe the Manta's kind of holding him back, but he wasn't super confident going into this one. I know you guys are. I've been pretty competitive this season as well, so I'm not sure if he's just going full meme here or maybe just letting these. Maybe it's a different tire strategy again. Every time we seem to do creator series on tarmac, the tires are always the main part of conversation. It's so sketchy. You don't have a lot of extra sets, and what you do have, you have to make last as long as you can. So this could be some tire strategy from Lembar. It could just be a lack of confidence. Again, like as you said too, Croatia, it's a big, nice mountain road, and it's really fun, and the guy has a lot of moments of slow speed in the hairpins if you get towards more of the downhill section here in stage 2 with JPH. But it seems like if you make a mistake, it's not like a gravel rally where maybe you have a foot on the exit of the corner or whatever. Especially and Iberia too. A lot of times you could just nudge a K rail and kind of get away with it. It seems like the consequences are huge here.
Yeah, well, there are two factors into that. Obviously, you've got the grass, the big tall grass that you can see on the side of the roads, but also the wrong tires. You know, when you're on gravel, if you go onto the grass, you will have less grip, but you'll still have a bit of grip. Whereas with these tires, and especially the off-camber bits on the outside of the corners, you just spin or just go down the mountain. To touch on the other subjects that you were mentioning, I think Vlembar decided very early to go with the Manta, but the first time that I learned about it was on the starting line of stage 1, so I could not replicate. Yeah, I was pretty gutted with that, because if I knew, I would have replicated with the Manta, but there you go. Sometimes it doesn't work out. He did say he didn't put in much practice, so I think just trying to completely, he knows he's on controller and that it's a little bit of a struggle with rear-wheel drive, so I think he's just going in there to try and survive, as JPH there nearly not surviving whatsoever, as he just got all sorts of out of shape over the crest there, just trying to correct. So yeah, it's so many different places to look at the moment, and even though we've got 4 drivers tonight, they are on the edge of their seats right now, trying to correct the cars through the corners, and we're going to be thoroughly entertained right now.
Yeah, again, just comparing a little bit more to the tarmac rally we've already had. Iberia very fast. A lot of the gutters and a lot of the corners give you a little bit of extra grip, so there's a lot of cutting, and very flat. Croatia very different, especially with the anti-cuts. You can't really take a wheel off at all, even if you wanted to, and especially on this on the downhill sections. More so on the other side of the mountain, it is fast and flowing with a ton of bumps in the middle of the corners. You do hear them on the co-driver, so it's not like they're a surprise. But especially in these cars, these aren't modern rally cars, as you put. They are Group B. The Group B suspension, Group B brakes. So a big bump is not just going to be a minor inconvenience. It could make or break the rally, and I'm sure we're going to see hopefully not, but I'm sure we're going to see a moment or two all over those bumps.
Yeah, for sure. And another thing to take into account also is the reflections from the tarmac. It amplifies the reflection that you have on the dash sometimes, and so it can be really distracting, especially in low lights, that you have to kind of spot the apex and see where you have to go. And so for Vlembar, we saw, especially with the green paint on the car, it was really tricky to see the road in certain places. So there's so many things for the drivers to try and I don't know, avoid or try and mitigate that. They're kind of playing a managing situation as a driver while trying to push flat out. And the problem is the cars will only get more difficult to drive. Right now, they're at their best. They've only got one stage, and it's been quite a short one on those tires. They've got basically, well, if they replicate our strategy, they've got 4 stages to do on these tires, and the last one is 25 kilometers long. So yeah, they're in for a bit of a shock if they carry on the same tires. It will be very interesting to see actually what strategy they go on. JPH off the road. No, he recovers it with a little dab of the handbrake right there. Very stylishly done, really, and just manages to remain on the tarmac. But that's how quickly it can go wrong. Literally, blink of an eye. And it's all over as we see Bunju really getting out of shape once again.
Yeah, I think you said this earlier too. Because of these rear-wheel drive machines.
Oh, Punju's going for a spin.
Oh, Punju off into the dirt. Can he find his way back on piste? Yes, he does. Does he remember what way to go? Also, yes.
Lovely done.
Yeah, it could have been worse. You know, I don't think that'd probably be minimal damage, and they're coming into a service area. So if there was a time to screw up, get out of your system now. Shake the cobwebs off, especially when the worst is yet to come, as you said earlier.
Yeah, for sure. This one definitely a sprint stage compared to some others, and the thing is also is that it's not always visible on the camera how off camber or how low grip these corners are. So sometimes you're braking for a corner and the last corner has been perfectly fine, and then you start hitting the brakes and you realize already on the brakes that you've run out of grip, and there's not much you can do to stop it happening. And so you get into a situation where you're trying to turn in knowing that you don't have the grip and just praying that the car slides, and sometimes all you do is pop a wheel onto the outside, up the curb, and then onto the grass, and you're going for a spin, if not something worse. And yeah, definitely for Punju inside the car, he really has to judge the width of that car, as I think it's probably the widest car in the game, to be fair. It is the bestest of wedges, basically.
Big boy. Big boy.
Big boy.
JPH with another solid time. Just crossing the line there, I believe. Just outside of the top 10.
Yeah, it says P8 here. 502.
Just inside the top 10. Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know how to read.
Yeah.
That's they didn't teach me that in school. It's fine. As Vlembar and Ryan making their way towards the end again. Ryan is the guy I'm going to keep a really big eye out on. He had a really good first stage time, and more from a tarmac background. So I would imagine that this is going to play right into his hands. Though, again, as you said, really, really, really vindicating to hear the things coming, everything that you're saying right now. This doesn't really reward threshold braking, really late braking. It seems like a lot of these corners, if you miss your braking zone, there's nothing you can really do from having at least a minor accident. It's not something where, I braked a little late, I'll go 2 tires off, especially because it's rear-wheel drive. If you're hitting as you see on the inside of Ryan's corner right now, you hit any of those curbs, you're in trouble. You go 2 tires into the grass, especially if they're the loaded tires, you're in trouble. It really, really have to stay on the tarmac. Maybe a little bit of exploring, but you have to be very careful with your throttle and your brakes at the same time.
Well, that's where obviously you can take the risk, and if you're one of the very best of the drivers in this game, that you can gain seconds after seconds just by doing the trail braking and taking the risk. If you know the absolute correct technique and you're willing to take the risk, you can take huge chunks of time, even on a few corners. And but as you said, is it worth it? On 9 stages, if it was a time trial, you can press restart, sure, go for it. But this is a thing where you don't get a second chance, that if you do make a mistake, you've got to live with it. And I think our drivers are just going to be focused on consistency rather than anything else, because looking at the leaderboards, every driver, apart from a few, have at least had one stage where they've had either a puncture or something go wrong, getting a time penalty. So there's so many things to take into account here that you just can't afford to push flat out. And with the championship also having 2 rounds remaining, including this one, you've got to think about points too.
I know it's pretty close. As we said, as Vlembar crosses the line for stage number 2, we'll be able to see what these drivers are going to do now in the service area with a 5:02.4. So not a bad time from Vlembar at all, especially since he was not really that, as we said, not that confident coming into this one. But there's battles all up and down the leaderboard when it comes to not just the Creator Series points, but just for a little bit of perspective, from a 10th to in the overall points, I believe, to about 20th. I think everyone's only separated by 100 points. So even if you're outside of the Creator Series, there is battles going on all up and down the leaderboard in overall championship standings. And I don't know about you, but it seems like this seems towards the top, one of the tightest battles we've seen in Creator Series in our 6 seasons.
Yeah, for sure. The point's very, very close, and whether it's in the Creator Series or out of the Creator Series, as you said, there's so much on the line that pressure will get to people. But one person which pressure is not getting to at the moment is Ryan L83, third fastest on that stage, on a charge, ready to go, and wanting for once to beat everybody and get that second win on the board. It's great doing it once, but if you can do it twice, that is what drivers look for. And I think this is probably one of his best chances because it's more like a circuit race where you can, as you said, trail break a little bit and take a few risks. And if you take the proper racing lines and manage the grip, you can gain a lot of time. So it's one of those things where, as a circuit racer and with that background, you can use that experience a lot more than a rally driver can, as it's a very different set of circumstances.
Yeah, he's not a tarmac specialist per se because he's been putting time in on the other surfaces too and been getting very, very good very, very quickly. But this something is right in his wheelhouse. He's using the M1. The M1 is one of, I would say, the 2 best cars that you could use. No one taking the Lancia in the broadcast, but 100 horsepower less, but 200 kilos less on weight, and especially with the tires and how we've been talking about the tires. And this isn't the fastest rally either. It does have its moments, but a lot of hairpins, a lot of all hairpin. There's a whole section where it's just straight hairpins like Mount Akina. So it can make either one of them work, but he's in a strong choice. It seems to suit him pretty well. We'll have to see how, again, I think this rally is going to be make or broken on stage 4, which will be about 14 or 15 minutes of white knuckle. Probably the scariest driving we've done all year.
Yeah, for sure. And it's one of those things where if you have a great result on all of the other stages, but you bottle stage 4, then it doesn't really matter anyway, because you'll get a puncture or something go wrong, time penalty. And that is really one of the stages where you have to be 100% concentration and just going for it, because the time lost in there is so difficult to gain back on the very short stages. And for most of the drivers, and I think everybody's not changing tires, so they're going for the same strategy. It looks like they're going to be very, very worn on that 4th stage. And I'm not sure for you. I think you mentioned it at the start of the broadcast, but for me, it was like driving on ice. And some of the corners you went into, you thought you had enough grip, and then all the way you go around like a Beyblade, and that's the end of that.
The uphill wasn't too bad. You kind of feel, at least on the medium, you can feel it kind of slowly wearing over every stage. Like, okay, I got to start backing my brakes up. I can't take these corners as fast as I can. As soon as you go over the crest to start the downhill run of stage 4, again, white knuckle. You can feel the car sliding and moving around. And it's as a mid-engine car, or in JPH's case, a rear-engine car, you don't have, as I say that, good catch. But you don't have the laziness of like a front engine rear wheel drive car where you have a minute to go, oh, I could catch this. It's just the tips of your fingers. Big toe on the throttle, big toe on the brakes. The brakes are a huge thing, as you lose half the braking power and they lock up twice as easy. So if the drivers do choose to take these mediums 4 stages, which it looks like a lot of them are locked in to do, again, we're gonna see some of the best driving you've seen all year, or the biggest crashes you've seen all year. It is genuinely the scariest thing I think I've done in EA Sports WRC, is taking those tires down the hill and trying to keep some sort of pace with how fast the second part of that stage is too.
Yeah, for sure. And I just want to mention as well that Punju is driving with H pattern right there, as you can see it, and with clutch. So he's doing all of the effort there, all of the old school driving, and I love to see it from his perspective, just pushing the limits as much as possible. And I love that perspective camera. He's just all the time. You can see the wheel inputs, you can see the pedal inputs, you can see all of the stuff on the handbrake, and he's done a really, really good job to get all of that up and running and working well. And I must imagine that the immersion right now behind the wheel must be something else. As into the barrier he goes, a little bit of damage on there. You don't want to be doing that with such a long 2 stages to do. But yeah, I got away with it. That could have been a lot worse. He could have been either eaten up by the barrier or spewed out into the hillside there. But it seems like he got away with it with just a little ding on the bodywork. But certainly not confidence-inspiring, and I think this is a sign that the grit is indeed running out.
Yeah, this is about the time where you're going to start to feel it. Again, it depends on what the drivers do with the information now. Do you take that information and go, okay, the tires are going, I got to start adjusting, or does it take another moment as we enter Ryan's PowerPoint presentation? And in this presentation, I will show you how I will be getting about round 3 of Creator Series. Thank you, Ryan L83. But it's just, yeah, it's gonna have to hang on to it. Again, it's just, this is the mental game now. You're staring down the barrel of a 14-15 minute stage on average. If you with minimal issues. It seems like, big catch from Punju there on the top left of your screen. That was not an easy save from the BMW M1 driver, but he made it happen. And I don't know about you. I don't know if you have a stick shift at home, John, but being able to skip some gears in the downshift in panic situations was really, really helpful. However, going through every gear is still, we are very much, I guess, at least in the M1 perspective, in the window of Bono me tires.
Yeah, I definitely have had the experience of downshifting and skipping a few gears. The problem is when I did it, the entire gearbox fell out of the car. So maybe not the best thing to do. Yeah, exactly. Who needs gears? It became a continuous variable transmission. It's fine. But yeah, definitely all the Ryan's PowerPoint is back indeed. I was about to say, what do you think is struggling the most? Ryan or indeed his PowerPoint is hanging on for dear life. But indeed now it's just Ryan hanging on for dear life as he goes all the way up the hill. And it's actually interesting because we have we did have a side-by-side at the start of the stage, which they started at the exact same moment, and as you can see, Ryan is now quite a bit ahead. I'd say about 5 seconds ahead already, so there's a gap forming, and Ryan is looking to put the pressure on here in terms of the championship. It is still mathematically possible for Ryan to win the championship with 2 rounds remaining, so he needs to get big points on the board and needs everybody else to make a mistake. So he'll be trying to pressure Valembar into making a mistake, or just overdriving the car, as we got JPH at the end of the stage there. It looks like a relatively uneventful stage for JPH, but I know he'll be anticipating the next one. That's 6th place overall on that stage, only 10 seconds off. That's a great... Oh, Punju all the way up the bank. He just got it over-rotated, and the front of the car just did not want to swing round. I think he got it just up on the curb a little bit, and that was not the best of situations to be in. I think those tires are cooked.
Yeah, and I mean, there was 2 choices, and I was really, especially Punju, who's kind of an all-or-nothing driver, on how he was going to attack this. Was he going to try to save the car a little bit, knowing he was going into probably one of our biggest challenges of the season, or was he going to do the thing that he normally does? And fortunately for the viewers, at the very least, he's going to do the thing that he normally does. So eyes on the Punju in stage 4 when we get there, but you know, as you said, Ryan's going to have to make a huge dent in points, but I know you're not one to talk about yourself, but you P2 overall in the rally right now with a 1 hour, 1 minute time, but there's still 1 minute and 47 seconds to find on the overall leader. So it's not impossible, but you've given him a monumentous task to try to do something.
Yeah, well, this is the kind of awkward moment where I have to go and say things like, okay, it might be P2, but it was quite a disastrous run from my perspective, because you have to take it from this perspective. Rear-wheel drive is what I enjoy the most, right? I'm always pushing for victory on rear-wheel drive, and to say things went wrong is an understatement, and there's a reason I'm a minute 47 down on the leader. So there's a huge window there for both Valembar, Ryan, and indeed Punju and JPH to slot themselves into that window and take points away. And you know, on a rally where realistically all they had to do is drive to the finish without mistakes, I made a lot of mistakes. And so it's one of those rallies where you look at the result and you go, hey, that's not bad. And then you look at the time and go, that's left me open to a lot of flack, hasn't it? So it'll be interesting to see about midway through where exactly the drivers are slotting in, especially after the end of next stage, because we could have a clear picture on who's going to sort of gain points back, who's done a good enough job, and indeed who's managing the tires, because that's the thing that I really struggled with personally, is managing the tires. It just felt after every tire swap, the first stage was fine, but the second, third, and especially the fourth stages were just all over the place in terms of grip and confidence.
Yeah, speaking of confidence, Ryan with a 441, that puts him in the top 5. He set himself up pretty well. Vlembar, not a bad time per se, but again, I just don't think he's got the confidence there. 22nd place overall right now.
I think Ryan is on course at the moment to eclipse my time. That effectively, we need him to, I need him to lose about 5 to 10 seconds a stage. So that's not enough. He's doing a great job, and he looks confident in the car. To be honest, Vlembar looks pretty good in the Manta, but the Manta's the more stable car, so I would expect that he's kind of gone for the safe strategy. JPH is kind of the oddball choice, really. The Porsche, I don't think anybody expects that car to go fast or faster than the BMW or the Lancia. But yeah, it's one of those things that it can work out beautifully if you are the perfect driver for it, basically.
Yeah, I mean, and again, we keep putting all this emphasis on stage 4, but I think Vlembar's car choice is, if it's gonna pay off, it's right now. It's when those tires start to wear, and especially on the downhill part. Again, this stage is 14 to 15 minutes if you're on one. And that's 14 or 15 minutes of white knuckle, 100% focus. This is not an easy stage in time trials with softs. It is still going to be tricky. So if it's that car choice is going to pay off, it's right here, right now. But to your point, looking at the overall coming out of stage 3, you still have about 15 seconds of buffer. But if mistakes are going to happen, again, for me, this is where the wheels started to fall off for me, was stage 4, that I ended up spinning and got stuck on an embankment, as JPH has now begun what will be, I think, the most grueling stage in Creator Series this season. I don't know about Sardinia next week, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, but at least so far.
Yeah, for sure. Sardinia is going to be something else, one of the toughest rallies out there. And Punju just having a little pep talk, I think, with himself as well on our multicam that we have here. So all of the drivers are anticipating this one, as we've got JPH full screen pushing the limit. I think to describe my rally, because you said yours went pear-shaped pretty early on, mine was what you'd call the snowball effect. It started with little mistakes and then just snowballed into worse and worse and worse mistakes as the rally went on. So it'll be interesting to see how the times fare, and if the drivers have the opposite trajectory. For example, Punju made a few mistakes now, but maybe that will give him the confidence to know where the limit is. As it looks like JPH is pushing. That was really lucky, because when it snaps like that, the problem is when it snaps like that, there's so many obstacles on the side of the roads that you can't see, that are hidden by bushes and all that. So it can be the most minute of mistakes, and then all of a sudden you've punctured a tire, or you've taken a tire completely off the rim, and you're driving on the rim, and you lose like a minute, or you have to stop and repair. So it's very, very easy to make a mistake, and you can see the level of commitment, just the wheel darting from left to right, and you can see it in his face, really. He's animated in the driving. That was a huge save. You can see his reaction right there. I love to see that. He's just at one with the car at the moment, but he's playing a very dangerous game.
If you're going to find the limits of what your tires can do, what your car can do, this is the part of the stage to do it. All uphill, you got a little bit of a grip bonus going uphill just with the way the weight is sitting in the car. These are the best the tires are going to feel on the stage. If you're going to get a feel of what you can and can't get away with, now is the time to do it. Punju is a brave soul on the best of days. If he can find that he's the Colin McRae. Either he's going to be to the top of the leaderboard or in a tree on fire with several explosions. So if he can just figure out his limits now, and I don't know if he's doing this on purpose or if it's just a product of his driving style, but if he could figure out his limits now, he might set himself up good for the run on the downhill. Again, I cannot stress enough how, and I was on the better car. I had the better car with the better tire wear. He's big slide from Punchy once again. He gets caught on the inside of the bank, keeps it pointing straight, only loses a minimal amount of time. But again, this is going to tell, it's information for him now. It's what he chooses to do with it that will set up the rest of his rally. Another slide from Punchy. Those tires are dead.
Yeah, I mean, the problem that I was going to say, counterpoint to that, is that you don't want to test the limit of grip too much because you will overheat the tires. And then for the entire rest of the stage, you're running on reduced grip. And the problem is now is he's done maybe about 2 sectors and the tires are cooked. Yeah, they've got about 16 sectors to do. So if it's oversteering like that right now, he's in big trouble. Even if he knows the limit of the grip, if the tires have nothing left to give, you'll be off the stage anyway. So, yeah, you can see the time difference as well as I think JPH considerably. I mean, he's a minute ahead in the stage, but he's considerably motoring along, whereas Punju's losing a lot of momentum sideways. So that's concerning, but very fun. I will admit, incredibly fun. And would I do the same? Probably yes. If I had a setup like Punju, I would do exactly the same.
Something to keep in mind too towards the back half of this is it's important in every rally, but specifically here is you have to set yourself up 3 corners ahead. You have to be thinking 3 corners ahead, whether you're using the visual cue of the pace notes, or you know the stages, or you have your co-driver set to call earlier, because so many corners have rhythm into other corners. So yeah, you'll take a 2, but maybe the 2 Titans comes up next, so you'll want to apex a little bit later and set yourself up for the next corner. Every corner bleeds into another corner here in Croatia, so thinking ahead and being prepared is really, really crucial. Some good stage times, and keeping all 4 tires on the tarmac.
Also, it gets faster. So the one thing that you don't want is the tires to be overheating, right? You've cooked the tires on the hairpin, and then all of a sudden you go to medium speed corners, and then at the end, absolutely flat out. So the drivers will have to build up their confidence as the grips. No, JPH, can he recover? As far as I'm concerned, there's no way back up. He'll get so close. Terrifyingly close to getting back on the road. And to be honest, he did very well to drive back up the bank, because a lot of the penalty is calculated via the distance that you are from the road. So driving back up the bank and getting the reset means that he took less time penalty there. So very intelligent driving. Unfortunate that the mistake was made. I'm sure he'll be kicking himself for that one, but it could have been so much worse in the context. The maximum penalty you can get is 30 seconds, and that is a long time. And also you slide a long way down the road to probably 40-45 seconds by the time you've reset to track. So yeah, all told, it's probably an okay mistake to make, as long as it's your only mistake.
Yeah, I'm glad you clarified that. I was wondering why he didn't just go for the reset, because I mean, worn tires, rear-wheel drive, and he's got rear engine too, so he's got to pull that train all the way up the hill and get over the crest of the hill and get back on the tarmac. There's no way that's going to take longer than 6 to 8 seconds. So I was wondering why he didn't go for the reset immediately. That's the difference between somebody who's familiar with this platform and very familiar with this platform, as you said. Very, very smart driving from JPH. As we get to about the 6 to 7 minute part of this stage, we're going to be reaching the summit. I don't know if it's not a mountain per se, it's a big hill, but we'll be reaching the summit in a little village towards the top of the mountain here very shortly, and that's where we will be transitioning from this kind of slow-ish to slow medium speed corners, lots of hairpins, to a lot of fast flowing and bumpy downhill sections. And again, this is where the rally is going to be won or lost for these 4.
Yeah, as you say, it flattens out really into the hilltops, I want to say, is the best description that I'd have. And then all of a sudden, just toward the end of the stage, you go down the valley then, and that's when it really speeds up, and that's where you really have to pay attention. Punju, big crash there, all into the trees there. I think it's just carrying too much momentum, and that's so easy. I think that's on the same turn as the end of stage 1, the one where I said you got to be careful of that one, because it just urges you to go into it really fast, and then it tightens on the apex. And I think this is what we're seeing, the tires just going off. Yeah, he's losing the rear of the car every single time he hits the brakes. I'm not sure. If you look, Looking at the steering wheel, no, it's snapping both ways. I think he's holding the steering straight. He'd be holding it about 45-degree angle, I think, if he had a puncture either way. And so this is just the tires going off. The problem is you've got so much power going through the rear differential that you have to have it quite locked. And that means that initially you've got great bite in the tires, great grip. But once that grip starts going off, it acts like a drift car, right? You've got all of that power going through the tires, and the differential just can't keep up, right? It just starts spinning both tires, and that's when it becomes basically like a drift car, because the car's trying to do its work, but you're just delivering so much power to it that it's overloaded. And then the driver has to do the counter steering, the ABS, and all of the traction control, and it can be overwhelming. As Punju's, whoa, wow, so close to going off the course once again. He's clipping that for sure. Yeah, there you go. A little bit of a clip to keep for the records. Yeah, I don't blame him after a save like that.
Yeah, and to your point too, in a drift car, it's got modern-ish, or whether that's aftermarket or just a more modern car, suspension, tires, brakes. Keep in mind, these are all mid-1980s rally cars, and the engine in the front, and that weight distribution is very, very, very important. Something like the M1 Pro car, when that's the line. Something like the M1 Pro car, especially, all the weight towards the back, you don't get those like lazy slides. They're snappy. And if you countersteer too hard, you're going to see exactly what just happened there on Punju's screen. Ooh, does everybody keep their shoes in the crowd, just waving hi to the fans? We're back on the track. He's going to have a handful for the next 10 minutes or so in that BMW.
Yeah, that was nearly an insurance claim right there. I think the fans would be heading for the bathroom maybe after
almost
that
a little too groupy there, I think.
Yeah, a little bit too role play there for our drivers. As I must admit, the cars are very, very low on grip, and also the tire technology. It must be said, the tires back in the day didn't have as much lateral grip, and so that means that as soon as you start sliding, you lose the rear of the car so much more brutally than you would in a modern car, and you can't necessarily slide it across the road, and so. Paradoxically, cars like the Manta and the Lancia, maybe, you can power slide a lot more freely because they have a bit more consistent grip. They might not have all of the power, but they have all of the finesse, relative finesse, let's call it that way. They all act like headless chickens, these cars. So, it all is relative, but Vlembard are turning into the corner, no issues whatsoever, where Punju had so many trials and trepidations even before he got to the apex and before he reached the spectator zone.
Ryan just a little bit on basically did the same thing that Punju did, just a little bit less. Again, if you go over that curbing, that alone, these cars don't, at least with these tarmac setups, do not like any sort of big disturbances. No curbs, no the anti-cuts, and maybe in some more modern stuff, you can get away with just clipping the anti-cuts. Not in these. They'll eat them and the nose will go sky high. You really have to focus on keeping the car all four on tarmac. Again, maybe get a little explorative, but nothing crazy. So really lucky to get away with that one was Ryan. Close to the embankment, that's in puncture territory as well. And he's been on a great rally. I don't want to say he's due for a mistake, but again, if there was ever going to happen, it's going to be in the downhill part, which I think all four drivers are now entered.
Oh, very, very lucky for Ryan there, all the way over the curb, and Punju off the road as well at the same time. So yeah, drivers getting caught out on the downhill sections here, and you can tell that as soon as they hit the brakes, the car starts sliding, and there are quite a few corners which you have to sort of know about. So the pace notes mention them, but they don't emphasize the caution that you have to have. And I think Ryan's about to, Punju's about to come into one of the only hairpins on the downhill section, really. You've got a few tight corners, but that one's a really, really tight hairpin with logs on the outside. You don't want to hit anything on that. With the other hairpins, they have barriers on the outside, so it's not too bad, but you can see the hesitation on the steering inputs. You can see how much he's having to work the wheel just to correct what the rear of the car is doing, and that is the skill of a driver in full concentration mode and just testing the limit of the car. But I think he'll be regretting all of those times that he slid the car in the first 3 or 4 sectors right now. As compared to the others, his car looks just wild at the moment.
Yeah, and again, coming down this downhill, I think this is going to be the worst part. You got some fours, and I think he's in the corner right now, where this is a downhill 3 Titans. Can he keep it on the track? He does. But because it's downhill, you have even less grip. Just the car getting light over the crest. Again, both corners. Those are the scariest part of this part of the stage. Is that downhill 3 and then the 4 Titans. Because the Titans a lot more than you would think it does. Keeps the car on the pavement. Credit where credit's due. Punju's taming a wild beast right now. He's riding horseback, and just trying to hang on for dear life. He's had 2 light beers and he's on the mechanical bull at your local sports bar.
Yeah, he's literally doing the race 1 mile at a time, as they say. Oh, and he might not make the next one. My days, what a slide, what a recovery, what a champ. That is what we like to see. And he is just testing every single inch of bravery that he has, and he's certainly got quite a bit again. Oh no, it's finally happened. Spun round, just got the wheel up on the banking, and thankfully hasn't got it stuck, but it can happen. Recovered very nicely, only losing probably about, I don't know, 3 to 4 seconds, but you can tell those tires have just had it, and he'll be hoping to reach the end of the stage, but he's probably got another 2 minutes of driving here, as we've got JPH reaching the final sector here, so it's actually looking to be a very good time from JPH if he can keep it on the tarmac. A few corners left to go, just 1 hairpin if I remember correctly, which JPH is going into now, and then flat out to the finish line. So actually, yeah, this is going to be a very, very good time. As Pudju's going for another spin, Vlembar's gone for a big crash as well. I noticed Vlembar was carrying a lot of speed into the corners previously into the hairpins, and it looked like he had a lot of confidence, but has that run out? It's all so difficult as, Pudju clipped the barrier on the inside as well. JPH going through the bushes at the end of the stage. Don't worry about that too much, but Vlembar, I think, has just gotten away with that scot-free.
Oh, Punju again tagging the berm on the outside. He's going to go for a spin. It's all the wheels are coming off for 2 of our 4 creators. We haven't talked about JPH that much just because he had a quietly solid run. Just kind of kept the car. I think he knew what he had to do here. Kept the car on track. We'll see if he did anything different with tire strategy, but just very, very solid run. He's going to be within the top 20. I think just under the 15-minute barrier, which is a heck of a good time for JPH. Another person who hasn't really put a foot wrong yet, other than a couple little excursions, is Ryan. Ryan has also kept this car pretty clean. We'll have to see where he ends up finishing, but actually, him and Vlembar, I don't know if I just can't see, maybe my eyes don't work, are a lot closer on that stage progress meter on the left side than I thought they were going to be at this point.
Yeah, they are, certainly. I'd say Ryan's still ahead, but Vlembar's had a really big push in this stage. I think, well, I was about to say the tires would be better, but looking at that sliding, maybe not. I think it's just the fact that with the less power, maybe he's just got more consistent grip at this point. But he's gone for a little roll there. This could have been a grand time, to be fair. But it looks like also JPH has done a stunning run through there as well. P11 on the stage, P8 overall for the moment. So another person running in the top 10 and the fastest Porsche driver as well. So you've got to give credit for that as well. One car that I expected to do better in this rally, but that hasn't really featured at the top of the leaderboard, is the Lancia 037. It's kind of the default go-to car if you want to go fast. But it's not working really in this event, and I really don't have any idea why. It should be more drivable than the BMW, faster than the Porsche Manta, and yet not many people are taking it. And Ryan coming up to the hairpin. I thought he was too fast, but he made the corner. How did he do that? Incredible stuff.
I think a lot of people just saw the stats sheet.
Vlembar is too fast for the corner.
Wow. Hang on to it again. We're almost towards the end of the stage. This is the last heavy braking zone. Just has to make it through here. Vlembar, that could have been much worse. We have to see what kind of damage he's going to carry. But what a time from Ryan L83, a 4:35 or 14:35, which I think will put him in 4th overall. He just bumps your time, is a down. So wicked time from Ryan. Again, that's on old tires. That's in what would be arguably the hardest car on tires in the field. And Vlembar with a 4:51. Anything under 15 minutes is a hot time here, I think. Really, really good time from Vlembar.
You can see how much that means to Ryan. He's really cooking this time. He is going for it. And Vlembar, where's that going to be? Yeah, I think Vlembar's going to be quite annoyed with that because he's so close. And all it was that little roll. I wonder if we'll get a replay of it. It was quite far into the stage, so probably not. But yeah, that's going to be one that's quite disappointing, really. And perhaps maybe we can get an interview with some of our drivers.
Oh, I'd love to talk to Punju.
Yeah, shall we drag Punju in?
Yeah.
Let's see if we can do that. Here we are. We have Mr. Punju. Normally he can hear us. That was an eventful stage, was it not? A lot of spinalas.
A few? Dude, man, I just like... Everybody was saying, the downhill sucks, the downhill sucks, the downhill sucks. And I was like, yeah, it couldn't be that bad. You know, like, I don't know if I really believe it. Yeah. No. Terrible. It was really, really hard.
Trying to tell you.
Yeah, that was rough. But hey, you know what? We made it to the end. We're like kind of alive. So we'll take it. You know? It's not bad.
So the handling of the car is fine, right?
Yeah.
What's up?
The handling of the car is fine, right? No problem with the tires.
Yeah, not even slightly a problem with the tires. Definitely not so excited to get some new ones right now. Dude, I don't even know like what to do though, because like you guys are so like people are really fast this week for it being like such a difficult week. I was thinking to myself, maybe I'll kind of play it safe all the way through and then soft for the power stage, something like that. I don't even know what I'm gonna do anymore, man. I have absolutely no idea what I'm gonna do. I gotta make the decision right now, so who knows?
So again, second half of the rally, obviously it was really entertaining to watch you drive there. Is there going to be a different strategy now that you know how this thing drives on those worn tires? Are you going to want to go up that street again?
I mean, I'm looking at like, when I look at this event preview and I'm like, hey, I've got 5 more stages left to go. I think it's probably best for me to be smart and go mediums for another 4 and then soft the final. That's still less distance, I think, math. So I should be fine, I think. I think without that final stage, the mediums were great. But as soon as you get like 2/3 the way through the uphill of the final stage, or that last stage we just did, it's when it really messed up. So I think I'm still going to keep my same tire strat of going for 4 more mediums and going for some power stage softs.
Yeah, seems like a lot of people copying that strategy. So we'll wish you all the best on that one. Looks like a little bit. I can see a little bit of worry on your face still. There's a little bit of incertitude.
Yeah, I absolutely. I think I heard that one. It's a very, very difficult time. But you know what? All I'm gonna do is all I can do. I'm gonna give it the best I got, and we'll see how the cards shake out.
All I can say, Arrow, is, ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Yeah, that's the understatement of the year, I think.
Anyway, we'll leave you to it. Good luck in the next one.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All the best. I wonder if we've got time possibly to drag in Ryan, because I know he'll want to gloat. So let's see. Just quickly. Ryan, we know it's very close to your start time, perhaps, but we have to drag you in here. P3 on that stage, or was it P4? In any case, it was ahead of my time, so we'll leave the floor to you.
I generally have no words to describe how I'm doing this well. This stage we've just done is probably the one that I was dreading the most, because I think Error will know this from when he did his run yesterday, that the tyres are absolutely shot when you hit stage 4. So my plan was to attack the first third of it, which is basically stage 1. And then afterwards, knowing it's going to be downhill, it's going to be tricky, just played it safe and just went in higher gears, took Brugg a bit early to make the corners. And thankfully, this is the first time I've actually got a clean run and not fall off a cliff near the end. So I'm happy, and I can take away I beat you, John, on an actual stage in the same car. So I've screenshotted that moment, so...
Hey, look, I said it was an incredible run. I'll give you credit for that. You were on the limit, and it really looks that way, and hats off to you. That's all I can say.
Yeah, appreciate it. With the issues I've had, which I think I told you before we started, where I had to drastically change my pedals last minute because my Fanatics don't work at the minute, the brakes, so I had to use some old Thrustmaster pedals just for this event. And as you saw on stage 1, locked up and went off at a corner that I'd never really lock up or go off. So it is going to be difficult. I'm not going to lie. And now the strat is going to be very interesting to do because I'm still in open mind on what to do. We have to go 2 softs now, and then knowing that the final 3 stages I know from testing that I'm comfortable on my tyres and don't have to really be aggressive. Or I follow the rest of the pack in like in the Vem bars doing mediums, I believe, again. And yourself, John, you did it earlier as well. You did another 4 mediums, but I think this could be make or break for my rally, I think. What tyres I go for now, and do I want to risk it or know that my tyres will be fine at the end and just see where we go with it?
For context, I think I was on the wrong strategy, so it'll be up to you. I really am enthralled by that rain tire strategy at the end. That one really, I should have gone for that one, really.
Yeah, I can definitely confirm on the broadcast I'm not going on rain tires at the end. I cannot drive in this car with the amount of power it's got with rain tires. By the halfway mark, the tires are gone.
Yeah, but Jam's not very happy with that decision. Our producer is wishing you onto those rain tires so that you can spinala all over the place, like the rest of us.
Sorry, Jam, but I've got to go for it now. Like, I don't know how far I'm behind you, John, overall, but
should I tell you? Do you want to know?
We have checking.
I'm looking at the number right now.
I would like to know roughly.
11 seconds.
Oh, okay.
You
That's
are 4th overall at the moment.
Bit closer than I was expecting, to be honest with that.
I predict this is going to be a close rally. Put it that way.
Nah, it's going to go downhill for me now.
This is the summit, is it? You've done the stage where you've summited and now it's down the other side, right? Understood. Well, talking about that, it's probably your time to get into the next stage, so I guess we'll leave you to it. Sorry for potentially cutting you off there, Aerotech, in terms of questions, but we'll have another chance to speak to you before the end of the rally, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely. Feel free to drag me in whenever, boys.
All the best, and hopefully it doesn't go downhill. Maybe in the parts of the stage where it needs to, but apart from that, no.
Yeah. Hopefully not. Fingers crossed. No commentator's curse.
No, never, right? Anyway, producer's curse. There you go. That's Jam's done that. And on that note, good luck for the next stage.
Cheers, boys.
I think he got a lot more from you in the sense where he's doing incredibly well, and he goes, "Oh no, I'm gonna do terrible." I think he's borrowing a lot more from you than just the driving style. I think.
Oh, have I amassed that much a reputation?
The most annoying thing is driving really well and hearing you going, "I'm gonna suck this week," and then waxing the field by 30 seconds. I want to. If it didn't cost me $1,000 in flights, I would strangle you in Minecraft. But.
So hang on. The thing saving me at the moment is inflation, right? Noted.
Correct. Thank the Canadian
Long
dollar.
live capitalism, apparently, everyone.
Creator Series, everybody. Oh boy. As we were moved on.
Definitely
to
not
5.
political Creator Series as we move into stage 5.
So we're already joining our drivers about 4 or 5 minutes into the stage, so we're on the last quarter as Ryan and Vlembar get started as they hold hands in tandem before they launch. So fixed cars, new tire. Ooh, Punji, that's
Punji. Wow, that was close. Because those white and black bollards do not move. Right, you hit that, it's solid, it's concrete. So he was so close and getting very close on that hairpin again. But I think he changed tires, so he's now lighting up these tires on stage 1. He might regret that again on stage 4. But he's certainly having fun out there, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I think we ended up talking to at least Punju and... Oh, okay, we're good. We ended up talking to Punju and Ryan, and they both went for different strategies. It sounds like Ryan's going for a more overall rally time. And if you take your softs now, you can maximize your time on those soft tires because they will last for the next 2 stages, and you'll get a little bit more distance out of them than if you just took them for the last stage. However, it sounds like Punju's going to go for what he thinks is the safer route. I don't necessarily agree with that as we end up finding the tree on the exit of the corner. That's going to hit, I think, more towards the middle of the car, so all the tires should be okay. No punctures, but coming out of a stage where he was carrying damage and finally fixed the car, that's got to be a kick to the gut, knowing that you're going to be carrying something now for another 2 stages.
No, but I thought he was going off there again, taking a very late apex liner, but it worked out. I was about to say that it's fine. You hit the middle of the car, Group B car. The roll cages were very sturdy back in the days, so no problem whatsoever there. Yeah, so definitely not role playing a Group B driver as it goes 2 wheels on the grass yet again, does Punju, and that is very, very risky right there. Looks like maybe he made a setup change or something, because that car is all over the place at the moment as JPH P9 19 seconds off, so that's a considerable gap. But then again, the top place drivers were on a rampage here. Callaghan 8 seconds faster than anybody in this stage, just sending it into the into the horizon at that point.
That was crazy to wake up and see his overall time. And again, I know you don't give yourself a lot of credit, but you're always seem to be within at least the top 10 of these. And to see him 1 minute and 47 seconds up the road, and on every stage, it's not like he won by a little bit. Really, really awesome job from the VBR driver there. Not used to seeing somebody, not uncommon to see someone with VBR on your username towards the top of the field. Again, he's currently leading points overall, and I'm sure that took into account the preparation before going into this rally. So awesome run from Callaghan, but it's really close towards kind of the middle part of the top 10 of the 5th through 15th. So JPH with a solid time there. Again, you said 19 seconds down, but third place is 15 seconds down. That's kind of how close it is behind the aliens of you and Callaghan back there.
Well, I'll take credit that you still classify me as an alien. I'll take that. But VBR, definitely a very prominent esports team. They've been around since I can remember, really, and they have so many great drivers. There'll be some people very happy to have heard the latest WRC news published today. So yeah, they've got so much reputation, and they're certainly upholding it today. Let's put it that way. It's Ryan, 2 wheels on the grass there in the braking zone, using the maximum of the course. He's very, very confident in the grip of that car, and I can't help but notice, but Vlembar's car's bouncing around quite a lot. Maybe some suspension damage or some sort of compromise on the wear. It just looks to me as if into some of the braking zones it was going a little bit sort of boaty, for lack of a better term. And I know the Manta is not the sportiest of cars, but yeah, it was kind of a weird one. But everything looks okay. But yeah, kind of a bizarre couple of corners right there for Vlembar.
Yeah, I think maybe I'm not saying that you're wrong, but maybe the reflection from the hood, again, I don't know what possessed him to choose bright green today, but you do you, boo-boo, I suppose. But the reflection just kind of maybe playing tricks on the eye. But we'll have to keep an eye on Vlembar's driver eye here and see what happens throughout the... big clip of the curb there. Again, if you do that in one of those low-slung mid-engine cars, that is game over. So I think that is the perk of picking the Manta, as you get a little bit more... it's a safer choice, as you said earlier.
Hang on a minute, look at the time difference. I just want to point this out. I think Ryan is like 10 seconds ahead of Vlembar and more. He is absolutely steaming up this road. And okay, there's a power difference, but he is so committed to the corners right now that he is making this look easy. This could be another really big time from Ryan, as you must give credit to Vlembar. He's trying his absolute best, and you can see he's on the limit with the controller through most of the hairpins. But yeah, this is something truly special that we are seeing from Ryan right now.
Yeah, again, I think he realized what was at stake here. He knew that this is kind of a surface that plays into his hands. Especially, I don't think a lot of us have a lot of experience going in Sardinia. So if he could get a good run today, that sets him up really good for the championship decider next week, whether that's he's fighting for third, second, or first. So I was going to ask you, because this is maybe something that you're a bit more familiar with, being on a really good run now. He knows this. He knows where he is. He knows what he's got to do to even try to stab at this overall win. What do you do now? Like, do you think about that as you go through? You take it one stage at a time. It's where his head's at is what I'm really interested in.
Well, hopefully his head is not thinking about it. because if it's flowing naturally, and it has been since the start of the rally, just drive with that and see where the times go. He's picked up a little buddy there as a anti-cut pole, but discarded it right afterwards because he needs the absolute best time. But yeah, hopefully he's not thinking about it, because if you start thinking about it, that's when the mistakes happen. And we've seen it time and time again in the Creator Series, where somebody has a lead, then makes a mistake in the penultimate round, and then it goes to a title decider. So yeah, it's one of those things where you just want to keep pushing and hopefully not fall foul to any mistakes. But the problem is, if there's one rally where he could make a mistake, it's Croatia. And there's so many things to sort of know about and to avoid that, yeah, it's looking like it's going oh so good for now. But he's still got quite a few stages remaining, as we'll try and check the times right
P3.
now.
641. He's going to end up being third place overall. Just a couple tenths behind you. I think there was a 641. You were a 640.9. Still nowhere near Callaghan's time of a 632. But again, just knocking down the door and keeping the race between you two for P2 at least very, very tight. And P1 in the creator standings overall, can't forget that, as Punju and JPH now moving on to stage 6. This is a 12-kilometer, 13-kilometer stage. It's going to be more, again, very fast in the back half of this rally. Still in the 6 to 7 minute range now in times. And I think this is where we're going to see if the medium or the soft strategy, whatever they chose to take, I think this is where this is going to play off. If you decide to be a little bit or decided to be smart with the tires here. Again, it's whether you're going for those power stage points and making sure you have that pace towards the end of the rally, or if you're thinking more of the overall time.
There's an interesting battle developing here on the overall leaderboard between JPH, yourself, and Vlembar, separated right now by 10 seconds overall, and that is going to develop into a very, very big battle at the end, I think, as people make mistakes, but getting all crossed up was Punju, and now he's spun in sympathy. He's going to get a corner cutting penalty for that as well, probably. So, yeah, the trifecta, locking the brakes, going wide, hitting a pile of logs, spinning into the inside of the corner, hitting the anti-cut post, getting a penalty, and still making it back on track. You can't do much more annoying than that, that's for sure, but it's so easy to do. And when you hit the brakes, especially, as you said, this is a mid-engined car, is the M1 Pro car, and then you have no braking ability on the front. You know, it's very light still, and so you hit the brakes, lock up, and then you're off, basically. And that can be so frustrating because you feel like you did everything you could have done to stop the car, and it still wasn't enough. And I think Punju, for some reason, maybe he didn't change tires correctly, because he's the only one really struggling for grip right now, and I'm struggling to understand why exactly.
I mean, there's also the fact that it's Punju. And I think Ryan came into this as our other M1 Pro car driver, as, you know, I want these times, I need to be safe with the car. Punju just kind of doesn't do that. He drives as hard as he can every single time. And sometimes it works out great. And sometimes it does not work out so great. I'm wondering if it's set up as well. I know he's using something that I posted last night for the Lancia, which is 200 kilos lighter. So something that might be a little bit annoying in the Lancia might be really bringing out some bad characteristics of this BMW.
Yeah, it also handles quite differently in that.
Good
all
catch,
the way up the
no.
bank. Good catch, yeah, but ran out of road to do it. Thankfully, it's a mountain goat, apparently, is this car. It's a rock climber. So it's got lots of ground clearance to do that. The BMW engineers working tirelessly to add that to the list of advantages to the M1 Pro car. And it's one of those things where, as you were saying, the setups can differ quite wildly, and definitely for the Lancia, I would not be applying a Lancia setup to the BMW. Clipping the inside curb there once again. I think it may be just a case, as you were saying, of taking a few risks too many, and it just getting sort of caught up in it. You get caught up in trying to go flat out. Also very aggressive on the gear downshifts. Wow, that's really grinding my gears, as they say. But he is
funny.
You got to add so many dad jokes in here.
Can you give us the date of when you premiere your stand-up career? I'd like to be there if it's possible, if that's at all possible.
Well, last year, would you figure? So the jokes will
Well,
keep on coming.
Yeah, another thing too is again, it just depends on the driver. At least in my run, is JPH has got a 640. I think that was a 643. So really, really good time for JPH. I think that is putting him third overall so far. Really solid time from the Porsche and JPH. That's gonna shoot him up the leaderboard. This is the one where I fell apart. And got stuck in a gutter for 12 seconds. But really, really smooth throttle inputs. Unlike an all-wheel drive car where you can kind of get the exit to a corner and mat it, at least with these, and again, I would imagine whatever you felt in the Lancia would only be worse in the BMW. When the tires start to wear, they don't have to be gone. When they start to wear, you kind of can't full throttle on the exits of corners anymore. You have to really kind of let the throttle breathe and make sure the car's hooked up. As punch you a little bit too much of the asking too much of the brakes, maybe too far back on the bias. Either way, I don't think he was going to make that corner. It was just depending on whether he was going to slide off forwards or backwards. The last braking zone of the stage, unfortunately for Punju, keeps the car going forward, but it's not looking good so far. Another mistake here.
Well, there is an advantage. He now has an active aero on that door, so hopefully the aerodynamics will be improved there. As I just want to point out, a huge time by JPH, 12 seconds
massive
off the pace, but that is incredible right there. And he's only 2 minutes off the pace, so just trailing, I think, third place that was. So yeah, really, really nice pace, and just flat out for the moment for Punju. I think that's just a little shrug of the shoulders. What more can I do? As you can see from Ryan, still ever so committed, ever so. I don't want to say tense. He looks actually more calm than usual. Looks more in control. And looking at the times once again, he is going faster, I think, than. Oh no, they're on the exact same part of the road actually. So it looks actually maybe like Vlembar could be equaling the time right now, which is really interesting. I wouldn't have expected that.
Just really quick to touch on it before we move on to stage 7. JPH was going into stage 6 in 6th place, really close to the other Porsche driver and Creator Series regular Flash Hole in 7th place. He is shot all the way up to 4th and is now by far and away the fastest Porsche in the field. So not to understate, we don't want to understate it. That was an incredible stage time from JPH. Awesome, awesome job from him. As we jump back on again, they're a lot closer than you think they would be. I wonder, again, Ryan said he practiced a lot of these stages, so I don't think it's like stage knowledge. I wonder if maybe there was a moment from Ryan that we ended up missing as we go into or just starting to approach the last sector of stage 6 here.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way because he's now clawing back time. He's now ahead once again by a couple of seconds. So maybe there's a mistake that we haven't seen. We'll definitely be able to see it by the end of stage time. He might even show us a replay if we're lucky. But that's good news for Vlembar in the championship because realistically, Vlembar needs Ryan to falter effectively to gain points to stay in the running for the overall championship, but also to stay, in contention for P2. Very compact. As there was where Punju went off from Vlembar's perspective, and now Ryan's going into it. So yeah, I think Punju just broke way too late, basically, maybe 10 meters too late, and then you lock the brakes, and there's not much more you can do from there. So yeah, it's very, very tricky circumstances. But to the line, what can the times be? Are they going to be anything like JPH's time? I think it might be slower. No, just ahead. Both of them just ahead of JPH.
Wow.
So 4 seconds by my calculations for Ryan, and then 2 seconds for Vlembar. So the time's incredibly close in 3 different cars.
Yeah, very, very fast stuff from these guys today. I thought that maybe this would be the point of the rally. We start to see some mistakes, some bigger mistakes, and seeing them falter, but apparently just taking it all on the chin. As really quickly, thank you to Rift Blondie for the big raid of 80 people over on Twitch. Hopefully we get to see you out here driving again at some point soon. It would be nice to have you one more time at least. But yeah, I expected this to get worse, John. I expected them to start making mistakes, and that's just not what's happening again. Ryan has been on one today, so it's a little bit less of a wow moment from him, but Vlembar shooting up the leaderboard and JPH making a statement here. Big moments on stage 6.
I mean, you can pretty much say that Punju has become the sacrificial lamb for this live stream. He seems to be soaking up all of the damage on the stage and indeed off the stage sometimes. So yeah, it's very, very tricky for Punju, but the rest are, they're just nailing it at the moment. I mean, look at those times. Just Ryan, Vlembar, JPH. Okay, fine. Myself, P2. Yeah, sure. Moving on. But those times are just incredible stuff. And in 3 different cars, you have to give them credit that they're dialing in the settings and making sure that everything works perfectly. This could be a grandstand finish, as they say.
Yeah, and this was a class that at least Vlembar last week and the beginning of this week said that the M1's just going to win. So Vlembar not only proving himself wrong, but JPH up there as well, making a case for the rear engine Porsche, which on paper, both those cars just look significantly worse than the other 2 choices in this class. So it just goes to show that, there are some classes in WRC or EA Sports WRC where one car is just significantly better than the other. But it seems like if you know what you're doing and kind of know your disadvantages and your advantages, you can make some of these other cars work.
Should we have a tiny interview with somebody while they're in the service? Which one would you like to interview, JPH or Vlembar? I'll leave the choice up to you.
I mean, I'd like to talk to either of them because they're both kind of having a similar story and they both had a very, very similar stage 6. But
I think seeing
maybe
as
Vlembar,
JPH,
there's a little bit more on the line for him. So
yeah, we'll catch JPH just a bit later on. Let's see if we can talk briefly to Vlembar. It's looking like a pretty good rally, apart from that little bit of a roll a couple of stages ago. So is the Manta performing well? It certainly seems to be doing so on the times.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised how far up I am. The Manta, the setup I have, it's quite stable. Obviously it has its moments being rear-wheel drive where it just looks like to me for no reason just wants to step out and completely spin. But so far I kind of managed it. And yeah, that roll was for show, obviously.
And
So 3
in
stages
terms,
left. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, no, carry on, Eritek. No,
3
it's fine.
stages left to go. We've heard a lot of different tire strategies. I know Punju's going to be taking softs towards the end. We've heard the rain tire get thrown out there if you're a lunatic. What's going on in the Vlembar camp? What are we thinking about tire strategy for the rest of the race, or rest of the rally?
I think I'm doing a fairly normal strat of twice four stages on hards and then the last on soft. Oh no, the medium, sorry.
Does the Manta have any sort of advantages on tire wear? It's got a little bit less power, so perhaps some reason to celebrate in the next stages with other performance dropping off for the other cars?
I mean, it's really depending on what tire strats the other people go in the club. I don't know. I also don't know what JPH is doing. He's not too far ahead of me. So, yeah, we'll see. I'm probably going to see after the stage, and then, stage 8. I can determine if I push or stay safe, maybe. But, yeah, so far, tire wear is not a problem in this car. Obviously, with the lack of power compared to the other ones. I think it's a big advantage, like, compared to the cars like the BMW and Porsche, I think. I think the Lancia is the closest one to me in terms of saving tires.
Wow, good analysis there, and I have to agree. You got 2 cars that eat the tires, and then 2 that are quite stable. So, in terms of the championship, are you looking forwards or behind?
I mean, in terms of championship, I think it's pretty much set. I don't think there's gonna be much change. I don't know how far Ryan is behind me, but I think it's probably like a similar gap than what I have to you.
Okay.
So
well,
it
seems
there isn't much change anymore. So
you can push flat out at least.
Yeah, I mean, technically I have nothing to lose, but I actually do want to try and get a good position now in the Manta. So I'm gonna probably go a bit more safe.
Okay, well, Arrow, if you've got any other questions, otherwise we'll leave him get into his run.
I should say sitting 7th overall right now. You're just nipping the heels of JPH and right behind Ryan. I'm just first of all going to wish you luck for the back half of these stages, and secondly, again, just doing incredible work in the Manta. There is nobody even in the top 20 in this car, so you are in a class of one right now. And best of luck, and hopefully we'll have some good news to celebrate here in 3 stages time.
Thank you.
Yep, agree with that. The gap, 8 seconds, by the way, for context, between yourself and JPH in JPH's favour. So game on that one. But yeah, good luck for the next stages, and yeah, see you at the finish line.
Gonna try my best.
Alrighty, best of luck. Oh, there you
It's
go.
so good. It's so annoying. it's so frustrating.
Yeah, he's doing God's work in the Manta, and I will say again, I'm frustrated that I'd already clicked the start button. Otherwise, I would have, clicked back out and gone and selected the Manta, because it's a very fun car to drive. You can slide it. Oh, Punju, unlike that. Wow, he's managed to get that stopped. Lord knows how he's managed to get that stopped. He had another spin at the start of the stage as well, but he's not really gelling with the car at the moment on the downhill section, and he's about to maybe go off again. Whoa, saved, but for how long? But yeah, that Manta, really, really fun to slide, and it's quite a predictable car to drive. The only front-engined car as well, so it can give you a bit more of a traditional balance. But it's also what made it uncompetitive in real life. So yeah, a bit of a double-edged sword there, and in-game, indeed, it is slower as well.
So we're now on stage 7, Zagorska Sela. To all the Croatians watching, I am very sorry. I didn't want to attempt anything at Pacifico, so we're going to give it a stab today. But this should be the last longer stage of the day, the only one that's 5 minutes plus, let's say. Again, at this point in the game, a lot of these drivers have seen these roads before. They've seen these corners before. Maybe not in this direction, but
whoa.
Oh, well, okay, well, and speaking of things that Punch you've seen before, welcome to the trees.
Wow.
I think he's just having some fun now. Big moment there. It was lucky to keep it out of the ditch. Again,
going for another.
Speak of the devil. Okay, no, we're good. Whew. I don't know how you feel when you give a car into his curve.
This is going to go a long time because he's got so many hairpins between the finish line and his car right now that he's going to just want to reach the end by any means possible. He's going for another spin. My God, it's just wanting to swap ends every single time right now. And I must admit, when you're pronouncing the stage name, I thought we were briefly playing The Sims right there, but I'll take your word on the pronunciation. But there you go.
Another EA Sports title available now wherever good video games are sold. Maybe not EA Sports. I think it's a different brand of EA.
Well, it's a certain type of sports, right?
Football.
I mean, there you go. There are sports in the game. Good, close enough, right?
Yeah, good save. We're back.
And it is in the game as well, yes.
Man, that just made me age 20 years.
Hey, the real ones remember when that was the title, all right? So it's fine. It's fine. We're bringing back the good years.
Good times. Good time. A simpler time, sitting there with pizza bagels on a Friday night after school.
Although, to be honest, looking at Punju's perspective, he's playing a lot closer to Burnout at the moment than he is to EA Sports WRC. So, my days, he's taking a few risks. And if he's not careful... No, I'm going to end the joke there because otherwise you'll ridicule me even more for the bad jokes. So, I'll leave you to it, Aerotech, for a while.
I mean, as we get a unique look, usually we have a full roster of drivers, but we've got the 4 here today, so we're able to see everybody on stage at once. Which is fun. You can just see the difference in driving. I think Blembar, obviously the steering inputs are a little bit different, being on a different controller input. He's on a controller while all the other 3 are on wheel and pedals. JPH's nice and smooth. Maybe just a softer setup or a higher ride height. Just a very, very smooth driving. Not a whole lot of risks being taken. You don't see a lot of snaps.
Vlembar.
Oh, Vlembar.
Oh, lucky.
I should just stop talking, I think, because every time I'm like, well, look at this guy. Fence. Like, it's cool.
How does it
not
feel,
what he needed.
Aerotech? How does it feel?
I feel like I have unlimited power, but I should have been a lot meaner a lot sooner, as JPH now nearing the end of the stage again.
Bunju going for a big one, big crash. just carried too much speed, the downshift as well from 5th to 3rd, and it just rotated the rear axle and then straight into the barrier on the highest speed section of this downhill right at the end. It's going to be frustrating, and I think he's just very happy to finish the stage, to be fair. JPH, I think, taking a smoother driving style because it's a truly rear-engined car. So as soon as you get the momentum swing, it's over for you. So you have to drive it a bit more cautiously. And I don't think it's worked, or the car's not worked very well on this 14 seconds down. So perhaps a possibility for Vlembar to gain some time back here. Although with Vlembar going for that little bit of a tumble there, maybe confidence not too high, and that's not what you want on the downhill section either.
Well, I mean, here's the other side of that coin, John, is now that if he's got a flip in, he's got, well, I'm screwed. So now he might just not be thinking about it. That could lead into more mistakes, or that could lead into some really good driving. So keep an eye on the left side of your screen there. Not to take anything away from Ryan. Ryan's still on his, I don't want to say miracle run, because this is kind of a culmination of all the effort he's put in the last season or two to improve on this platform and get better and get more competitive, where this is just the fruit of his labor. So it's not like this came out of nowhere. He's obviously won a rally before, but it's just not surprising to see him towards the top of the leaderboard. But I think on Punju's mistake, for those who took mediums for 4 and then mediums for another 4, this is the point where you're going to start to see the mediums go from, oh, that's not so bad, to uh-oh, especially with the way he's been driving. And the end of this stage specifically, it's a lot slower than it looks. I think the call is 2 5s and a 4, and it definitely does not feel like that in the car. And if you don't have experience on those tires, on those medium to high speed corners, that was a really easy mistake to make. Obviously, he kept it from being a huge damage, but still going to have to carry something through stage 8 now. Luckily for him, again, a lot of the longer 5-minute plus stages are in the books. We've got 2 more to go. Our power stage, which should be about 6 minutes, 5.5 minutes, and then should be under 4 minutes in the next stage of Hartje in stage 8. But to get there, we still have to finish stage 7. Again, Vlembar and Ryan. It looks like Vlembar, and actually looks like they're a lot more even. At least on the progress meter, usually they leave like on the same beat, but Ryan, that's unfortunately, I'm sure that's going to be at least a 5-second penalty.
Crucially, he's not going to be able to get back up, is he? Yes, he manages to recover it really close there and struggling to gain traction back on the road. About 10 seconds lost, I guess, but that's better than taking a reset penalty. Disastrous though for the overall, and I think he'll be a bit annoyed about that one. But I was about to say, how have you managed to get away with all of that commentating without cursing anybody? But there you go. It has happened at least a little bit, and not on my watch. As I must admit, actually looking at the times, he's still ahead of. That's quite incredible. Still ahead of Vlembar. So Vlembar really struggling here in this downhill section, and you can tell now Ryan is really pushing now. He is all like on the limit of every single corner.
I mean, I think that everybody but Callaghan in the club had some sort of issue.
Oh, he's gone off.
Oh, no, Ryan!
No, that's going to be a penalty. Oh, has he managed to save it? He has.
I thought he was beached there for sure.
Yeah, a meter more, and it's a reset penalty. It's 30 seconds guaranteed. And I can promise you that pace note is late. And so there's a half chance that even if you brake on time for the pace note, you're not stopping the car. And I think that's what's happened. He's just gone in there a little bit too hot, has rotated it on the handbrake, as you do. And, the car just didn't stick, carrying too much speed. But now he has quite a bit of time to catch up. And I think it's probably the same stage where I came unstuck as well with the M1 Pro car. It's such a difficult downhill stage that at some point you're going to overstep the limit and go just all the way down the bank, as it turned out for me. So yeah, very unlucky for Ryan, but it's not over yet. There's always room for mistakes and from other drivers, and indeed for time gain for others. So watch this space, as they say.
The big thing, too, is it's rally. It's not necessarily if you're going to make a mistake. It's when and how big. And the mistakes breed into mistakes, what you saw there. And to your point, not only is the call late, but the braking zone is almost totally blind. You're coming over a crest. You don't see the hairpin until you're there. So you kind of have to brake in good faith and hope the corner is where you remember it being. Croatia is not like last week at Portugal, where Portugal's stage knowledge is so important in Portugal. Just there's so many corners, left, right, left, right, left, right. Here, you can ride off the pace notes. It's not as dependent, but that is one of those corners that if you know the stage, you're going to be a lot more confident in the brakes. And Orion, again, just on this run, pushing really hard there, and it costing him not too much as he makes his run towards the line, though.
Yeah, you can see visually the speed he's catching up. He is going hell for leather, as they say, and fourth gear into that. That is brave and very, very nicely done. That is incredible. I think he's going to finish the stage ahead of Vlembar. Just they cross the line at the same time. Lovely stuff, but it's going to be a 7-second difference. So even though with those mistakes, he's actually managed to get away with it relatively scot-free. You know, he's lost maybe 10-15 seconds, I'd say, but that's much better than getting a 30-second penalty. So we'll have to stay tuned as to the gap. I'm trying to see that on RaceNet, but could have gone a lot worse, put it that way.
Yeah, I think to your point too, both those times, I think he may have got a track cut penalty there. I wasn't sure, but either way, I think both times he recovered was smart decisions from him.
He did not get a penalty. He did not get a penalty.
No, so yeah, so both recoveries, I think he would have lost time. Even if it was like, I think the lowest I've seen in the reset penalty is 6 seconds. I think he would have lost time if we would have went for both of those. So at least, especially on the first one, his confidence in the car getting up the hill paid off. Really, really smart decisions on the fly there from Ryan. And all things considered, not the most time lost as he's still sitting in third place, but the gap to you is slowly starting to open up. As Vlembar, myself, and JPH, the gap's still pretty tight. JPH leading that battle currently with a 52.08 overall, with Vlembar behind with a 52.19 and myself a 52.36. And this is where, again, the strategy is going to start to differ within these last two stages again.
Yeah, for sure. Here's a fun game for you, Mr. Aerotech. Find my time on stage 8.
I had to look really hard. I had to look really hard. As I was like, oh, well, he's because I woke up this morning, right? I was really proud of my time last night. I woke up this morning going, okay, I've been beat, but by who? And I wanted to see how well you did, and then saw stage 8 went, did he not finish the rally? Huh. Page back. Oh, there he is. So it's glad to see that you're human at least. Punch you another one of his human moments on the left side of your screen there.
Yeah, it's just going from bad to worse, isn't it? I think just the tires being cooked from stage 1 has not helped. You know, once you get the car sliding, the tires basically never recover. So as a driver, it's your job to delay that as long as possible. And once it starts happening, you kind of have to just embrace it and go with it, because otherwise you just lose even more time trying to keep the car smooth. And right now, the problem is the front tires are okay, so you can see he gets great turning, and then on the apex it just goes sideways, and there's not much you can do about it. And then all the way until the next corner, he's fighting that traction, he's fighting that oversteer, just to go into the next corner with overheated tires and do exactly the same thing again. And it doesn't even help that he's on the downhill, which means that the rear tires are under even more pressure to find grip. And he's all over the shop, but doing very well to save it. Must be said.
Yeah, I was going to ask you this before. You can be as nonchalant about your pace as you like, but somebody who's very familiar with this platform, as how much tire heat, more so than tire wear, comes into play, especially on a tarmac rally.
Yeah, for sure. There's no metrics, really, that the game gives you about tire temperature, but you can feel it, really. You know, you can feel tire wear, obviously. You know, as you drive the kilometers, you feel, oh, I could have taken this corner a gear higher 10 kilometers ago or whatever. But the tire temperature really has a big effect. If you have a huge snap of oversteer on the first corner of a stage, you will feel it the entirety of the stage afterwards. And so... Pudger's going for a big off. This is going to be... Wow.
Oh, my goodness.
Hang on a minute. He went all the way up the bank and now is going the other way. That's an interesting one. That's a big off. We didn't see the start of that.
No.
But then now he's beached it. I cannot believe it. No way. He
the Lance Stroll strategy of, I got it. It turns out I do not have it. That's... oh, no. And right towards the end of the stage, too. There's the timing board.
That's the equivalent of getting beached on one of those sausage curbs, isn't it? You're just stuck there thinking, or in a gravel trap, just like stuck there thinking, oh, I see the finish line, I see salvation, and then it's not there. Vlembar off the road a little bit as well. Oh, he did well to get that stopped, but yeah, that was a little bit of a heart and mouth moment. Some of these corners tighten, and there's no indication in the pace notes really that it's going to happen. You just have to prepare for it and go for it. But for Ryan, once again, this is looking like another stormer of a stage.
Yeah, I wonder just how far behind these two are. I believe they're still on stage 8. Yeah, they are stage 8 because we haven't seen the time for them yet. But JPH with the top 5 time there, currently sitting in the top 5. I would love to if we have time.
Let's have him in for an interview. If I can find my mouse on my screen.
I got it.
There we go.
I got it. Teamwork.
We got him in. Hello, Mr. JPH. Hopefully you can hear us. Hopefully you have your correct earbuds in. How's it going so far in the Porsche? It looks like it's a really fun car to drive, and the times you are setting are incredible.
Yeah, evening, guys. It's been really fun. It's been absolutely brilliant to drive. By a couple of moments, it's been almost perfect this thing. And yeah, it's been quite nice to see sort of the times coming from it. It might be interesting. The setup I've got comes from Monte Carlo rather than a direct one for Croatia, so it's a nice tarmac setup, it seems.
Seems to be working, that's for sure. You had an interesting statistic about this car in the Roger at Albert Clark rally. So if you would remind us of that, we'd be very grateful of that.
Yeah, about 4 years ago, so you get the Roger Albert Clark rally, which runs every 2 years over in the UK. And it was like a 5-day event, like 300-mile sort of competitive running. Generally used only for sort of historic cars like your Mark II Escort, stuff like that. In 2021, Ryan Champion took a 911. Normally a Mark II Escort wins the whole thing, but they all fell to trouble, and for the first time he managed to get a Porsche to win that event, which is quite incredible because it's a massive rally of attrition.
Yeah, and it can't be overstated how dominant the Escorts are in the historic rallying at the moment. You know, they've got an abundance of spare parts, and they were very quick back in the day. So you're doing the same amount of work, really, on this rally. You're taking a car that shouldn't really be in the top 5 of the leaderboard to the top 5 at the moment.
Yeah, it's. I must admit, some of the pace has been surprising. I mean, my aim really tonight was to sort of beat you, Aero, to be honest, because I know you in the Lance, you know, Megan. If I could get Aero, that would be a good result. I wasn't quite expecting to go quite as well as I have. So yeah, it's been a really pleasant surprise, but it's just generally just been really fun. Like, and normally, and it's annoying to say this, but Croatia to me is a really boring event. Normally, the roads are just not fun. But this class, I quite like the fact Bungie picked this class because it does make it a lot more interesting and a lot more fun to drive because you've got so much more going on with the car.
I was going to say, we talked about that a little bit before we fired on there. I heard that from you, and I really didn't get that vibe having somebody who's having already done it, especially with how our tire strategy, regardless of what you do, at some point in this rally, you will be on worn tires, and it will be a handful. With this car being mid-engine, obviously that has happened to you before. What's the vibe like in the cockpit when things start to go haywire?
I'd like the engine to be in the mid of the car. It's actually fully in the rear with this thing. Which makes
okay, if that's not what I said, that's what I meant. I apologize for my outburst. I'm the new guy up here. I don't know what I'm doing.
No, it does make it a little bit more interesting because with the M1 and the 037, if the back end does move a little bit, you've got some chance to save it still. It's not necessarily the end of the world. This thing, once the back end goes, you really don't have any chance of saving it. It's gone. You might as well just hit the brakes and hope that you stop still on the stage rather than down an embankment. But it's kind of like the challenge of driving it. It's what I enjoy. It makes things so much better when you take a car that's sort of understated and make it look better than it actually is at times.
Yeah, it's a great way of saying it. I couldn't say it any better. And yeah, we're in awe at the moment of what you're producing on the stages. And you have a great way of describing it as well, must be said. So I guess the only thing we have left to say is good luck for the power stage, and hopefully you think you can get some points off that one?
Well, I'm hoping so because I've gone with the with the 4-4-1 strategy, so we're going to have softs and sort of no spare in the boot, or should I say in the front of this car. So I'm hoping that will help me get at least a few. I mean, I'm not expecting to keep up with you, or maybe not Ryan, but it depends how his tyres are, because I know he's gone with a 4-2-3 strategy, I think. So it could be actually quite interesting with Ryan and see how his tyre wear is.
Yeah, well, Ryan is just motoring along today. He's just set the fastest time of stage 8, so there you go.
Wow.
Yeah, overall fastest time of stage 8, so he's flying at the moment. So
Wow.
yeah, we'll wish you the best of luck on that one, Mr. JPH, and we may see you again at the end of broadcast.
Thank you very much, guys.
No worries. The pleasure is ours.
So to your point, just to emphasize what you just said, Callaghan has not been bested in this rally yet at all. So Ryan is the first person out of over 150 people to knock Callaghan off the top step, and now he takes the lead in the Creator Series times, not by a whole lot, only by about 20 seconds, and with the pressure of the power stage on him, that's all it takes is one mistake, and we've seen that mistake from him already. We're going off and reset penalties. All it's
surely at this stage, surely he saves, and doesn't go for power stage. Surely.
And I'd argue is that this is your best stage of the rally. You're only 2 seconds off Callaghan, or one of your best stages of the rally. At least one of your most competitive times. So if he,
I'd argue I didn't have any good stages, but yeah, sure.
That's just you. That's how you speak. Don't worry, I'll be your confidence for you. I'll invoice you tomorrow. But it's not like the pressure's off. He's still gonna have to have a good run here. Any mistake, again, this is not a short stage by any means. It's not one of the longer ones. It's still gonna be about 5.5, 6 minutes, but lots of opportunity for anything to happen going into this last one. And again, the tire strategy is going to be different. He's not going to be on a soft tire here. As somebody who did that 4-2-3 yesterday, they shouldn't be too bad, but you'll definitely feel it, especially towards the end.
Yeah. And we have Punju in stage already, as we delayed JPH a little bit there with the interview, but he's been having a good stage. This one all the way downhill with the hairpin, so you've got to be really, really confident on the brakes. So yeah, a lot to play for, and must admit, for Vlembar and for Ryan, this is crunch time now. Some really good, big points on the board. For Ryan, a chance to get that coveted second victory, which everybody loves to have in the Creator Series. But you're no longer a one-hit wonder. You get a lot more confidence as well after that you can do it again, and usually good results come after that. So hopefully for Ryan, he can keep it on the road, as all JPH was nearly eating the barrier there. But I sincerely wish it for Ryan. I really hope that he manages to bring it home. He deserves this 100%. He has driven a stellar rally, and I think even regardless of the result now, like, he has made his mark, put it that way.
Yeah, I don't want to glaze him anymore. I don't want to inflate his confidence more than it already is. But I think the top 50 in Creator Series now in Season 6 is leaps and bounds different what it was last year or last season, Season 4, Season 3. It's so much tighter towards the top. And I mean, you can see that just in the Creator Series points. Right now, overall, I'm looking at my time. I'm 10th overall. This is a dream rally for me. I'm still 5th in Creator Series points. 5th! Five of them! And it's not over yet too. He still has to get this rally done. You can see, look at the look on his face. You can see, you feel that pressure and that weight on his shoulders. It's how he chooses to carry it now that will be the difference between a rally win and maybe second or third place. And as you said too, it's not over for Vlembar and JPH. JPH currently has the lead over Vlembar, but less than 10 seconds. It's a 56-34 to a 56-46. And this is not necessarily a 2, 3, 4 minute stage. There are, really easy ways to make 6, 10, 12, 14 seconds. And where I lost all my time in this stage was driving too safe. A lot of really heavy braking zones, a lot of really deep braking zones, as Ryan goes a little bit wide there, just keeps it on the track. But really, really easy to kind of overthink and either go too slow or go too fast.
Yeah, for sure. And it's just one of those circuits, I guess, that it resembles more a circuit than a stage. That's why I call it a circuit, because you're really late braking, and as we said before, you're trail braking and taking quite a bit of risk in there. So it will favour the Brave as Ryan up onto the bank, losing a second or two there. Thankfully, it was in a braking zone and he didn't get it really wrong, but that is not the confidence boost that you need in the first sector of the stage. Yeah, it can be really difficult if you start making mistakes. Obviously, the nerves will be getting to him, and I would admit also it's probably one of the worst stages for him, because he's mentioned that problem with the brake pedals. And
this is the oops all hairpin stage.
Yeah, and it's downhill as well. You need 100% confidence in the brakes. Can you imagine if not only he wins the rally, but the power stage as well, doing that with a broken set of pedals? I mean, like that's just aura plus 10,000 at that point.
Yeah, I mean he is on a different set of pedals. He's not using the broken ones, but it's the old reliables that he hasn't used in God knows how long. So it shows the kind of adaptability that he has. Again, we're trying to kind of try to keep an eye on all 4 times here. There's storylines and stuff all across the board heading into our power stage. And again, this is bonus points for Creator Series drivers if you can win this power stage amongst our group of 6 or 7 of us, I think, this week, considering myself, you, and Cephalosis, who put a time in before he took his big road trip. If you're watching, Andy, I hope you're safe.
For a spin.
That's, again, really easy to do here, especially in the faster
the
parts.
Last corner
Yep, it's the exact corner that I thought it was, too.
Yeah. Literally, there's no corner after this. He has spun on the last corner of the rally, just clipping the guardrail, I guess.
He's not happy.
And yeah, I can imagine why. I mean, you know, that's something you never want to do. That's a stylish finish, though. Groub B finish right there into the marshals. Very, very historically accurate. But sadly for Punju, that was looking like a good time before that incident as well. He was going to be probably top 10 at that stage, but that little spin at the end has cost him. If I can find his time.
14th overall, 6:13.6.
Yeah,
and that was on fresh softs too. He was
13th on the stage.
Yeah. Okay, it says 14th on my screen, so I don't know if I've got
stage,
another.
I guess 14th overall.
Oh no, I'm actually so wrong. I was looking at stage 1. I just happened to get it close. Oops, I refreshed and forgot to.
That happens.
I'm a race net newbie. Okay, cool.
Hey, look, at least this happened to everybody this season. I think every commentator has done that at least once.
Thanks.
Ryan, I thought he was going off the road there, but it's just taking a little bit of a cut, cheeky beaky style, and he's gotten away with it. But my days, is he taking the risks? As we've got the PowerPoint presentation, George Russell style, to why he should be a tier 1 driver at this stage.
Fact.
Yeah.
Apex fact. Corner speed fact. Me
brake marker
tight.
Hit.
Yeah. Yeah, he's again still have the back half of the stage to go. But it's so easy to make a mistake on the end of the stage. Punchy luckily was on those softs, but it looks like he's been wearing tire a lot faster than everybody else. I don't know if that's just his driving style or what, but I can't stress enough, the last 3 or 4 corners of the stage are where big mistakes can come, because you've been hairpin, straightaway, hairpin, straightaway, hairpin. So you hear 4 and you go, oh, I could carry this almost flat out. Your tires are almost gone, and the cadence of the corners, the camber of the corners, really, you kind of have to lift a little bit. And unless you're thinking about it beforehand, it's not something you're thinking about at the time. So very easy mistake to make there.
Yeah, for sure. It's one of those things where, a little bit of overconfidence can lead to so many problems. I think JPH across the line, if I can see that time, P4, incredible stuff. Just 1.6 seconds off of P3 as well. Obviously carrying that rear engine car down the mountain, not the strongest stage, 13 seconds behind. But P4 on that stage will secure him probably, I'd say, in 3rd place in the Creator Series standings for this rally. So probably a podium. Yeah, sadly, usurping you, Aerotech.
Cool. Felt like I tried all week or anything. You know what though? Like JPH has had such an up and down season, where either his rallies go incredibly well or incredibly not well. So I'm glad to see him have a full return to form, have a couple of good rallies now under his belt going into the season finale. I'm disappointed, but it's not like Rally is such a great thing because if all of us are competitive, I think we have Vlembar coming into the fastest part of the stage now. Going towards the end, we'll have to see what his time's going to be. But Rally is so cool where you can still be hyper competitive, but it's just you're competing against yourself as we get our last 2 times here on the board.
Close. Going to be close between Vlembar and JPH. Who's got it? I think, yeah, it's, oh my days. Vlembar gets the power stage points for the moment, but here comes Ryan. I think Ryan has made a little bit of a mistake here.
He must have.
I didn't see anything, but he doesn't care. He's crossed the line, and he has won for the 2nd time in the Creator Series, and look how much that means to him.
Yeah, I think even with the tire strategy, you knew what he was going for out of the gate there. Not to take anything away from Vlembar, huge result. He's actually just going to lose to JPH, getting P6 overall, and will be 4th in Creator Series points. As somebody who thought it wasn't going to be a factor whatsoever, that's still a really good result from him. A really good time from Ryan. Albeit with his minor mistakes, but he will be taking the Creator Series win, 2nd overall in the club, still a minute 36 down on Callaghan. That's crazy. But less than 10 seconds between you and him is towards the end there. Really, 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 really close.
That was closer than I expected. You did say, and I didn't really believe you, that you could lose time in here quite a bit. And I think Ryan maybe just took it a little bit cautiously in there. But there you go, confirmation.
So easy to do, yeah.
Ryan, 2nd overall. The only person to beat Callaghan today. So, if that doesn't cement your deservedness for a victory, I don't know what does at this stage. But there you go. That will be 25 points in the bag. And, I mean, what more can you say? I think Vlembar will be a little bit down after this one, just not being able to find that performance, or just not being able to hook up on the rally, which has been really, really difficult for our creators in the past. But what I suggest is that we get in Ryan to get that celebration right as it's hot off the iron. Let's see if we can drag him in. There we go. Ryan, that is victory number 2 for you in the Creator Series. That has got to feel fantastic.
I'm honestly speechless, if I'm going to be honest. Like, going into this was probably going to be my weakest threat combo. I'm utterly shocked, if I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, I've got no words. Honestly, like, I'm just chuffed. I've done it for the creators. That's the main thing. I beat you, John. I can screenshot this moment, mate.
I saw the screenshot key being used very frequently there. Honestly, I don't think from the commentators box it was that much of a surprise. You looked in control. You looked really on the limit of most of the stages, sometimes over the limit, sure, but everybody in this rally has been a bit like that. And you managed to just pull out the performance where you needed it to. And yeah, just what a display of driving, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I cooked it when I think it was stage 8 where I went off twice at a hairpin, at 2 different hairpins. Just one outbraked myself on one of them, and then the second one was just a major skid issue by me, just locking up and going off. I think I went good with the tire strat, so I went opposite to a lot of people who did. So I went softs in the middle and then went medium to be safe on the final 3 stages. Felt it really bad at the end of probably the last half of the final stage, but as soon as I come onto the last bit of when you've done the downhill section and you're on the fast flowing bit and saw my time, I knew just had to survive the last bit where I've crashed a few times trying to be a bit too over aggressive with the power, and got it done. Kind of miscalculated though what I needed to do to beat you by 20 seconds or something. So thanks to Vlembar for letting me know literally prior before we went to know what my reference time was. But my aim was to beat Aero actually on this stage because we were on the same strat, and thankfully I did only just. But I think he still got a power stage point, which I'm very happy about because he's a good lad.
That's me. He's talking about me, guys. That's me. He's talking about. I mean, the first one had to mean a lot, Ryan, but we actually got to see your reaction to this one. And this one felt more like a statement. Talk us through what this second win means to you versus the first one.
I mean, I know I won one in last season, but I kind of don't really class that as a real win for me because I had a bit of an advantage over a lot of people with the car I chose. But this one really means the most because me and John are in equal machinery, and I beat him on track.
The meme.
So it's and just kept it clean, and that's what I rarely do in the Creator Series, as I know you both know from previous times I've done this rallies. So, I mean, maybe this is the car. Maybe this car is actually a blessing in disguise, and me hating rear-wheel drive cars. Maybe this is a sign that I like them now, but probably not. Still.
Well, as you said it, you have beaten everybody in equal machinery, and you can carry that title until the end of time, as they say. But yeah, I mean, that was, wonderful. And do you think you can now take that to maybe take the fight to Vlembar for the second place in the Creator Series standings? I think mathematically it's still possible.
No. I mean, my priority was to secure P3 in the championship today, and I think I have now. So the next round is just going to be full on send, enjoy myself. I can't catch Vlembar really. I don't think he's going to be a slouch in the WRC2 cars. So I'm just going to have a lot of fun on this last rally next week. And, you know, I've got something that I thought I'd never do, win an overall stage and a rally in the same one is just madness. So
Yeah, I really hope that you're giving yourself proper credit for that, because you are the only person, and unless God shows up in the next 12 hours, to beat Callaghan today. The one guy. Nobody else has done it before or since. So again, I know that must feel good, but here's a little bit of extra sprinkle on the cupcake for you, because I was really surprised to see that. I really hope you're giving yourself proper credit for this. This is a beautiful to watch.
Yeah, I generally didn't even realize until probably 10 seconds afterwards. I was like, getting ready for the next stage. And then I see a P1. I was like, what?
Yeah.
That can't be
Scrolling
right.
down, like, where is it?
Where's Ryan? Ryan should be like 20th or something. I can't find my name. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, just seeing your commitment, your pace, I'm not surprised that first place, not only in Creator Series came, but the first place on the stage as well. He looked just electric today, just on the limit, and delivering, even when your PowerPoints, sometimes video footage back to us was not delivering, you were definitely delivering on the stages, and that is just... I think we were talking about drivers who have improved, and I think you are probably among the top of the drivers that have improved in the shortest amount of time. Just the level of adaptability now is, I will say, to a lot of people, probably quite scary.
Yeah, I mean, I joined, a couple of seasons ago now, probably right at the end of seasons 5, I think it was, in Japan, and going into the first few rallies, I was just... it was a new game for me at the time, and just have a bit of fun and learn about the cars. And now, like, I had a full season last season and picked up a win, and obviously not in the right way, if I'm going to be honest with you. But ever since then, I've just improved more on how I perform in a rally from start to finish. Like, I know in the past and more recently this season, I've kind of been cautious or crashing at the first half, and then I come back in the second half. But I think this was probably the opposite, because I had a really good start and then had a bit of a mishap on one stage, but then the end was perfect. So this would have been the perfect rally for me if I didn't make the 2 mistakes I did on stage 8. But I mean, I don't think I'm going to be anywhere close to use in like other machinery, like the WRC cars or like the modern cars. But it's nice to know that, like, this one, I can beat the likes of you and Vlembar. Yes, Vlembar's in a disadvantaged car, but I mean, next week will be interesting to see where I really am in terms of the pace of yourself and Vlembar, John. So if I'm anywhere close, then I'll take it, going into next season, and just see where we go from there. But in terms of this season, I've drastically improved, and that's where I want to be, locked in P3, the championship. Something I wouldn't have expected going into the season, but I will take that any day of the week. And yeah, there's just nothing else I can add to that, I think. But it's always been a pleasure to do these events.
I think you've summarized it, perfectly, to be honest. And yeah, we just want to say congratulations once again and enjoy the sweet taste of victory.
Thank you very much.
Unless you've got anything to add, Aerotech. Just want
No,
to say
I think you
Whoopsie.
probably put it best, and I think to compact on what you said, just a culmination of all the effort and time and commitment that you've put into the series. Maybe not something that's spoken about, but you've kind of really dove into Creator Series head first. You support everybody that runs in this too. You're constantly in everybody's Twitch chats, cheering them on, and I'm just stoked that you got to see some results for all the effort that you put in. So congratulations, my friend.
Thank you very much, and just wanted to give a shout out to you both for the broadcast tonight. You both did a stellar job, especially you, Aero, for coming in, obviously, and doing your run yesterday.
Right. Work with this guy.
And also Jam as well, behind the scenes, coming in for Gareth, who's been away. Shout out to Gareth. So Jam did a good job with being the director behind the scenes, and you all three of you should deserve a lot of credit for spending the hours that you do, preparing, and especially Jam doing all the stuff behind the scenes is a lot from what I've seen. So I want to give a personal shout out to all three of you for doing a good job tonight, and we'll see you, hopefully both of you, John and Aero, on next week for the last stage, of course, which will be last rally, not stage.
He's done a Hamilton there. I just want to point out. I want to thank the fans, my family, my pet dog, and all that stuff. He's
you
done
keep
the
Roscoe out of this.
Yeah.
He's a good boy. You keep him out of this.
I admit, yes, indeed, you're quite correct. Please don't hurt me, Mr. Hamilton. Anyway, thank you ever so much for joining us in the comms box for a brief interview, Ryan. Sweet victory, and enjoy it. You definitely deserve it.
Thank you, and thanks, chat, as well. Much appreciated, as always, from the Creator Series chat. Take care.
Alrighty, just want to confirm with our producer whether we have time for one more interview. We do. Your choice, Artek, maybe.
I mean, everyone's got a story, right? Like JPH ended up getting
do.
second place, and it was pretty close. Vlembar with, again, I'm looking at the overall results right now. Vlembar finished 7th
Best
overall in
Manta.
the club in the Manta. The next Manta is not until 33rd with brother Chris, so who is also in the top 10 in points overall. So it's not like it was just some person that took the Manta, right? So that's a huge result from him. And then Punju had the most fun rally, I think, whether that's sarcastic or not, out of the 4 that we watched today. So, yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think we'll talk to our good friend. We talked to him first. We'll talk to him last, at least if it doesn't let me.
It's driving the stage at the moment. I think I can try.
That's not my problem. That's his problem. There we go.
Given. Oh.
Welcome back, Mr. Punju.
Hey.
So I mean, we saw it. We saw how it went, but we'll hear it from the horse's mouth. How was it out there today? Obviously, some moments of adversity, but it looked like you were having fun out there in between.
Nay, as you said from the horse's mouth. Sorry, it was there. So sorry. Really, I don't know why I felt like I had to. Hey, have a good night. Honestly, it was pretty. It was a rally. Honestly, like I like the car. I love those stages. I think the hairpins are actually pretty fun. I was flying on that power stage, and then I just sillied it at the very end. I'm just kicking myself for that because I could have been like top 5, and I'm so mad about that. But else-wise, I mean, honestly, it was a fun rally, and I had a hilarious moment where I cut an entire hairpin on accident, and I didn't get a reset. So now I know that it exists, and I'm not going to tell you guys where it is.
Oh, we saw it. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. Well, now you know.
We also saw you get stuck on the rock immediately after that. So
yeah,
I mean,
that was not great. that was an unfortunate moment. But elsewise, honestly, it was great rally and hilarious content. So I'll take it.
It certainly looked like a bit of a slip and slide throughout the entire stages. The tires lasted about 2 or 3 corners after you fit them onto the car. So, exuberant driving style, and we love to see it. But your views maybe on Sardinia, because I saw you were practicing there or doing a little bit of a preview. So, a good rally for you?
In general, I think the gravel type at Italy is really good. It's similar to the one in Portugal, and I really like that. The WRC2 cars are like my favorite car in the game to drive, so I don't care which one you put me in, I'll enjoy it. So long as it's not the Ford, actually, just kidding. Everything but the Ford, I'll enjoy it. I'm stoked for this one. I'm gonna go with a meta car. I'm probably gonna take the Skoda, and I'm gonna go see if I can like do well for once. I don't know, crazy concept, right?
Yeah, for those who maybe have not watched or followed the Creator Series, Punju always finds a way to like throw a curveball at us, right? He's a little bit of a sicko. I don't know if anyone's just taken a gander at the length of the power stage next week. 31 and a half kilometers!
It's the longest.
I didn't even.
Funny joke! It is the longest stage of the season.
Yeah, and not only that, do you know what the world record time is? The world record time?
No, it's like 20 minutes or something.
18 minutes and 50 seconds.
All right, so 35-minute stage time coming for us next week. That'll be great.
Yep,
and that's without corner cutting penalties.
Correct. I thought it would be hilarious to go ahead and just do the final stage as the most insanely long, ridiculous stage possible. I was correct, by the way. It is hilarious. And I'm very excited to see everybody go through all the stages of grief as they go through the 31 kilometers.
Yeah, no kidding.
So our strategy of saving a set of tires for the last stage is still going to be in effect there.
It is rather necessary, I would argue, actually. But not only is the final stage 18 minutes, the stage before that is like 11. So it's not like it's one nice one. It's 2 hilariously long stages back to back at the end while you're fatigued. Great way to end the season. I'm stoked.
Oh, and the first one is 18 kilometers. Oh, the tire choice is going to be an absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Went from a tire strategy rally right into another tire strategy rally. Good joke.
I'm already going through the stages of grief right now, and I've got a week to prepare for it.
Go through the stages of grief now, so you can go through the stages of Italy next week. You got this.
Hey.
It's gonna be chaos, and I'm stoked for it.
I have some words for you in Italian that I can't repeat on the broadcast. I think I've watched a lot of Sopranos.
I got some buca di beppo, sir. Don't know what that means, but I know
I'm lactose intolerant. I can't have that actually.
Stracciatella. I learned what that cheese was today. Okay, we're digressing. I'm very excited about the rally. I think it's gonna be really fun, and I think people who are racing this series are really gonna enjoy it next week, even with the final stage being so long. I think it's a fun challenge that will turn into a lot of enjoyment. So yeah, I'm ready for it.
Well, he's put a lot of words on the line right there. We'll hold you to that next week, let's put it that way. I'll tell you what, we'll go full on board with you next week to make sure that you do no corner cutting there on those 31 kilometers, just to make sure.
I would not do that. Please no.
Look, if it's anything to judge by your perspective this rally, it's very entertaining for us, so maybe we will.
You know, if that's all I can do is entertain, then that's all I can do, and I will gladly be that tribute. Gladly. I think it's a great way to end the season, honestly. I think Italy, in like one of the most fun cars, is like a great way to end the season. So yeah, it'll be good. It'll be entertaining.
I'll take this over like rain, constant rain, or that cool thing you did where you put all the fog rallies back to back, and those are the ones who you weren't there for. At least you'll be there in the trenches with us. Eyes emoji.
I didn't do that.
Yeah, or you'll do, or you'll step out for a cold carton of milk, and we won't see you again. That's also very possible. It's happened before.
Not like that's an anecdote for you, right?
Yeah.
I know. I wouldn't miss it for the world for next week. If I'm being honest with you, I'm so stoked.
Well, it's definitely going to be a really, really tricky end to the season of your own doing. So, I would say good luck, but this is of your own reckoning at this point. You're in the
Oh.
trenches, as Arrow said.
Yep, I'm ready
We'll
for
see
it.
who has the last laugh. Let's see. But yeah, certainly it was very, very fun watching you. Drive and spin. Let's say through the stages. Hopefully, less spinning in Sardinia, must be said. But very good to see you committed, especially with that H pattern. Love the perspective on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and we have to say also before the season ends as well that thank you for organising the events as well. Maybe less the fog, but we'll gloss over that once again.
Yeah.
We won't be reminding you of that whatsoever.
Yeah, needless to worry about.
Well, Arrow, unless we've got any other questions, we'll leave him get back to sweating on Sardinia.
Yeah, again, I think we are going to talk about it more next week when we get there. But just thanks for your work behind the scenes. For those who don't know, Punju is the unfortunate mastermind of this whole EA Sports WRC Creator Series. Whether we like it or not, it is not it is a dictatorship, and this is our guy. But thank you for putting this on. Thank you for being. It's nice to have you back for more rallies than you watching. And hopefully we get to all enjoy being on fire next week in Italy together.
Oh, it's gonna be a great time. Thanks, guys. I appreciate the kind words.
That's the last you'll get.
Best. Yep, I deserve it.
Back to the dungeon with you.
Even knows he's understanding. He's accepted the situation right there. It may be over for us next week. I didn't know that before looking, so thank you for pointing that out. So I can cope and see now rather than on the
first
Sunday.
thing that I saw last night. I was like, okay, cool, Sardinia. Now, oh my god!
Oh my god!
Cool. I'm like, what? This whole season, I've been like, where's the kaboom? Where's the earth-shattering kaboom? There it is.
It's like the fireworks display. You got a crescendo until the end, until you get that big party buster at the end that just blows your eardrums out, and that's the end of the show. And that's what it's going to be. But then again, must admit that Ryan has put a little bit of a fireworks display on tonight, and that is something that we will remember for quite a few months to come, that's for sure. Because I haven't seen such a drive like that in quite a few seasons, to just be so calm and assured, even after a mistake, to just keep driving home the times. Makes a mistake on one stage, wins the next stage outright. I mean, hats off, as I said before.
I'm going to use something I use for myself and apply it to Ryan, where I think he can't say that he's learning this platform anymore. I don't think he's a rally driver in training. He's here. And I didn't want to be the one to say it because I don't remember his first win. But again, I think that's when we were all picking silly cars and the door was kind of open for him. But not this week. You were in a competitive car. I was in a competitive car. And JPH and Blembar, even though they had some of the lesser of the two picks, it's not like they were slow. So I can see what this means a lot to him. And there was battles all over the leaderboard too, and it sets us up. We'll have to see where the points shake up for next week. But it's going to be a really, really interesting end of the season, especially with all those long stages. And Italy is not a cakewalk of a rally either. Lots of gravel, lots of areas where it can go very, very, very wrong. So if you had a fun time this week, next week's only going to be the cherry on the Sunday of this incredible season.
At least you got four-wheel drive.
Yeah, that'll help. A
little bit.
Fire me down into the pits sooner. Cool.
Yeah, well, and faster as well. Yeah. Just means the accidents are more spectacular, which, on Creator Series, we do like that from a spectator's point of view, but not from our own. Let's put it that way. In terms of my review of it, I'd say Ryan's victory in Mexico is still well-deserved. It's a very tricky course to drive and where you can make many mistakes. The fact that you have a slightly faster car than the others, he was still racing against people, he's still learning at that time. And so, he's racing against the same category of drivers and ended up winning with that category of drivers. So I don't see where really beats himself over the head a little bit too much about that. But he doesn't have to worry anymore because that's all academic after this win. But yeah, just what a result. And indeed, it sets us up for a finale where everybody can push flat out as... I don't like saying this myself, but the championship is mathematically over. That's the only thing I'll mention about it. But I will say it's been one of the, I guess, most exciting seasons in terms of everybody pushing, and the level of drivers has been just constantly increasing to where you have to put your level here anymore isn't good enough. It has to be all the way up here to start winning and getting podiums. And so with seeing every driver pushing and seeing people get really good results, including yourself, Aerotech, on this rally, really good result with the Lancia, seeing drivers go from strength to strength, confidence to confidence, really, really is nice to have that sort of progression. And we get to have that grand finale that everybody wants in Sardinia, which we'll have to check out next week. So I have a few things left to do, is to ask you where we can find you on all of your social medias, Mr. Aerotech.
You can find me anywhere on the internet at AEROTEQ, YouTube, where you can find all the VODs of my runs. The VOD of my Croatia run should be up in 2 or 3 hours, I think. Should be 8 p.m. Eastern time. You find me on Blue Sky and, of course, on Twitch, where you can find all of our creators today. Yeah, that has been a treat to be up here in the booth with you. I'll let you take us off the air, where we can find you, of course. But I just wanted to get my 2 cents in. You're the person that I really looked up to getting into this. Just a super knowledgeable, kind, funny guy, and a good ambassador for this community in terms of helping people and kind of prioritizing that. So it's been really cool to be able to call this rally with you and then fight alongside you towards next week. So should I not get a chance to be behind this microphone again, I wanted to get my 2-piece out while you are unable to cut me off and say, no, stop being nice to me, I'll explode. So.
There you go. That's the end of the live stream right there. But and we're off air in China. But no, I don't know what to reply to that, to be honest. Mind blown. There you go. You've done it. But I will say, I think the one of the best things about this community is the help that everybody gives in terms of setups, and there's a lot of chat in the background. And if you need any setups or whatever, pop over to the Discord of Creator Series. I think it's !Discords, and you can get all of the tips or just ask for a little hint on one stage or one corner or whatever. Or just chat with people as well. That works too. But yeah, we'll say I looked up to Mr. Aerotech for a long while as well. So the feeling is mutual. Let's put it that way. But yeah, for me, you can find me at Everything Is Amusing, like that down there, except the little bit right there is a S, not a Z. So there you go. But anyway, you can usually find me crashing into a tree anyway, so the name is irrelevant. A shout out once again to Jam for doing the production work, which has been difficult at times. Technical issues and OBS go side by side, to be honest. We all know that. So a great hats off for persisting and for doing the heavy duty work in the background. And also just want to say shout out to Gareth, because I know he hates it. And on that note, it's time to end the show until next week. So thank you ever so much for watching. And Gareth can do nothing about it because he hasn't got the button to take the live stream off air. Yes, lovely stuff. But yeah, until next time, until next week for the grand finale where everybody will be pushing flat out, it's time to end the show. So thank you ever so much for watching. Have a great week wherever you are. And until next time, bye-bye for now.